fly, and there we go. First race of the day. Going to be headed towards Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. It looks like Shido already has a good run, but here comes Bolshaw on the outside as well.
Yeah, Rowdy Randy had that inside pole position there for the Formula 4x4s, and he's going to take the early race lead down the front straightaway.
Oh, looks like Bolshaw.
Summers having some problems back there.
Yeah, looks like a right front flat already on Summers. He looks to be pulling off to the side. Tough break for him. Didn't even make it down the starting line. Look at this, a battle for the lead already.
Bolshaw run that outside line down into the gravel pit.
Mr. Perfect this year, Dan Bolshaw, just laying together some good wins. Going on that outside, look at that power just run around the top.
Yeah, well, Danny Bolshaw has a lot of laps here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway, so he's certainly raced in these kind of conditions before, so no trouble for him early on.
No troubles for Bolshaw as we see our classics now taking the green flag. The second race has already begun, and looks like Conitzer out front in that famous El Camino, Shane.
Yeah, Conitzer was having a great season up until round 7 and 8 here at Crandon 3 weeks ago. When that man, the 613 Dale Chestnut, stole that points lead away from him. So Chestnut trying to have a late season charge here and steal a points championship away as we go back out front with Bolshaw.
Yeah, Bolshaw's doing what he needs to do. He got out front, not using any kind of tear-offs. He came through turn 1, and he was a little bit wider, kind of cut around the outside on Schneidel, and he's never looked back. And you can see the track, how the track crew's done a lot of work trying to maintain this facility. And look at the ruts already here early on. Dan Bolshaw, that bright orange Ford, really collecting that mud. And we talk about mud, the weight that gets put on these trucks, Shane, and I know from years past and experience, it is crazy how much weight you actually put on these machines.
Yeah, that weight can just wreak havoc on suspension, let alone how much is getting kicked up into the radiator as we look at Conitzer there on that number 640 Shallock trucking machine fighting the mud as well down through the Argonne corner.
Absolutely, Shane, you know it right. That's what you try to avoid. You try to put protective plates. I know my cousin Braden Bolshaw, he put some protective panels because it actually knocked the belts off. All those rocks and mud that get inside that engine compartment, that can do a lot of damage. So, Dan, that's where you want to be. You want to be out front early.
Yeah, you can actually still see most of the side of that truck, which is remarkable, even though he has been out front, that mud not sticking so much to his truck as you see him powering through that gravel pit turn.
Yeah, we talk about trying to hit the fast line, trying to hit the right line. I don't think there's really any kind of line right now. You just have to tiptoe through. As you see, Conitzer coming through turn 1. Really heavy mud coming through there. But if any track can get this facility back in shape, it's Crandon. They do a phenomenal job. They're always an A-plus effort in anything they do. And I guarantee you, it's hard to say right now, Sam, but we might see dust by the end of the evening.
And Brent, you touched on the race line. Usually there's an established race line already at the start of your race. For these guys here at Formula 4x4, there's no race line, so they're actually working to kind of build one as they go. And then eventually we'll see that race line both widen and move out farther on the track.
Yeah, I've watched Dan the last 3 times coming through those turns and going through the Argonne loop there. He's went 3 different spots, so he's just trying to feel it out. You really don't want to go through those big, deep ruts that everyone else is going through. As you see, coming in this back section, the cowboy turn, coming in here, taking that hard left-hander, just keeping his vision clear. And, man, that kid's been pretty perfect all year long.
Look at how those ruts just completely drew his truck way to the outside, almost pushed off into the grass on our land rush start there. But Conitzer as well leading our Classics race. You're pointing at our monitor up here, Brent. There's a little bit of steam coming out the top of that number 640. He's leading right now in Classics pretty comfortably over Chestnut.
Oh, he went around. Yeah, you're right, though. He had some steam. Now he got a little crossed up, went around. He's trying to get back in the right direction. But, yeah, exactly. You see the steam, and that's what happens. That radiator gets plugged a little too much, and it's not a bad thing when the steam's coming out, and when it goes away, that's when we'll have to start to worry as we go back out front. We talked about that excess fuel coming out. Bolshaw really laying it down.
Yeah, and when I watch Bolshaw, like I said, even though he's been out front, he is accumulating a lot of mud underneath that truck, and you can see the suspension sagging more lap over lap here as Conitzer was able to hold on to that race lead over Chestnut.
Wow.
Basically, the way the points are shaking out between these two, whoever finishes in front of the other one on both days, if they can put together, 2 consecutive good runs, they'll be your points champion here in Classics.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the wire in a lot of these classes here this afternoon. So if you're not watching, you go tell your friends and family here at Championship Off-Road. Go log on, watch us live. We're here all day long. A great crowd on hand here in Crandon as we look back up towards Aaron Conitzer in that El Camino, just trying to finesse his way through this very tough layout here early on.
Yeah, this is where veteran know-how from our leaders right now, Beauchamp and Conitzer, they've both done a ton of laps here in Midwest short course off-road racing, so they fully understand what it's like to race on this track conditions. And just the experience with this particular track surface, it's really dense clay, so it does absorb the water pretty well, but it does get very greasy on top. But these veteran guys, they know all about that.
Yeah, they're usually the mud cleaners, like I like to call it. They like to take everything off the top, give us a great racetrack, and kudos to these guys. They're not scared to get dirty. This is off-road racing. We're not on the pavement here this weekend in Crandon. We're running, and this track's going to get better. They're just going to have to move their way through as Conitzer still showing a little steam coming through Argonne Turn as we go back up front with Danny Beauchamp, a little bit muddier.
Yeah, it looks like Beauchamp still experimenting with lines a little bit, just trying to find the smoothest and cleanest line where there's not ruts developing.
Yeah, absolutely. The four-wheel drive is definitely in his favor here this afternoon as we look farther back. Tough, trying to get through that fun. Look at him just holding the loud pedal down. Like, I'm going to get to that grass, see if we get a little bit more grip.
Yeah, that's Billy Wilson in that 601. He's from right here in Crandon as well. One of those racing Wilsons. We'll see his brother Kenny and Kenny's son Charlie later on in Super Stock Truck. So Crandon represented pretty well here. We had Adam Weber out here in Formula 4x4 as well.
Yeah, a lot of locals here. They know this clay, they know this dirt, they know what it does when the rain and Mother Nature takes effect. As we look, Dan Beauchamp still with the green flag out, just putting in laps. You're really not driving the wheels off these things, you're just trying to keep it unstuck.
Yeah, I noticed Conitzer before as he leads our Classics race. He's not being very timid, though. I mean, he's kind of letting the back end hang out, not driving conservatively. Of course, he knows that he has to finish ahead of Chestnut both rounds pretty much to have a shot at this points title.
Yeah, he's just doing what he needs to do, and that's big. I mean, you're going out there to win a race, don't get me wrong. But right now, if you're going for that championship, you're trying to outdo that other guy, and when the points are that close, it makes it very, very challenging. As Beauchamp's trying to climb that hill once again in the back section.
Yeah, it looked like Beauchamp was having a little bit of trouble in the Argonne corner. Got it sorted out, though, as he heads back down into Cowboy corner.
And you touch base on the weight and the shocks, and you see how they're almost bottomed out. You take 500-600 pounds, set it on the roof of your car. What's it going to do? It's going to collapse that suspension. So mud sticks to every creek and crevice on these cars. I mean, I remember back in the days, my brother and I running at Antigo, Wisconsin, that red clay. It took us 4 or 5 days to get it clean.
I've still got a pair of shoes somewhere in one of my closets at home that has Antigo clay stuck to it, so I know exactly what you're talking about. As Beauchamp running out front, and you watch him over these jumps, like you said, just pretty much full sag when he lands all the way down to the bump stops.
Beauchamp coming through the barn turn up towards the suites here in Crandon. Yes, we have suites. Up to the right side on our screen, back to the Classics now. That is Aaron Conitzer, that El Camino still out in front.
So we're talking about the suspension having issues dealing with the extra weight. Is that something that you can account for in your setup? Can you make those changes to offset that without completely throwing your setup off?
Well, I mean, you do the tires. Obviously, you want to probably run a heavy mud terrain tire here. You try to break through it as deep as possible. I don't know, some guys run narrow, some guys run it wider. But, I mean, yes, you can valve your shocks. You can adjust your spring, your ride height. You can only go so low. But at the same time, you know it's going to get pulled down. So there's a lot of different things that drivers like to do. I mean, I didn't really get a chance to talk to Dan much about setup, but he came in what he had last time. But I guarantee he didn't expect all this clay.
As we've reached our mid-race competition yellow, so we'll reset the field, bunch everybody back up, and taking a look again at Conitzer as he heads down past those skyboxes into the gravel pit. I keep seeing that same steam out of Conitzer.
Yeah, definitely. That steam is still showing, and there's Dan Beauchamp, the 526, the Rally Inc. on board as well. Just doing what he needs to do here in 2020. He's former Super Stock Truck champion, as we said all season long, trying to win a Formula 4 championship, and he's been pretty perfect. But he said, hey, if he has a bad day and breaks, he could lose it just like that.
So at our halfway point, the top three in Formula 4x4, it's Beauchamp, Scheidel, and Anderson. As we are going to toss it down now to Haley Shanley, who's trackside. Haley, what's it like down there?
Still pretty juiced up. I know, like you had said, Dan Beauchamp, he's still experimenting, still trying out different lines, trying to find which section of the track, which line is going to be the fastest and most efficient for him. But right now, as you saw, Cody Summers, a tough break for him. He pulled off early on. He was currently sitting second in the points race, just 3 points the margin ahead of Randy Scheidel, who is sitting second in this race. So a potential points shakeup. Of course, we're crowning a champion tomorrow, so we'll see how this one pans out. But tough break for Cody, who just came off of a pair of second-place finishes just a few weeks ago here for Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Haley. Like we've talked about already a few times, this is it. This is the end of these last two rounds of the Championship Off-Road Series here in 2020. And tough break for Summers, who was sitting second in points when he started the race, but that's going to hand over second place to Scheidel.
Yeah, definitely. Scheidel will be in second. I mean, he had a good hole shot. He came in turn number one, but Dan Beauchamp had one heck of a run on the outside. Came and took that lead over. So it'll be interesting to see here in this second half if Dan can just get the job done. And that's what he wants to do. We talk about him being calm, cool, and collected. I was actually talking to my aunt earlier. She actually thanked me. Thanks for saying that, because he really is. And I mean, I don't sit up here and lie or tell you a different kind of story. Like, the kid really comes in focused. He does his homework. He has a lot of great guys helping him, and that's what it takes. Coming from racing myself, you need to have a group. We always say there's no I in team, Shane, and we know that.
Yeah, and especially racing on the sportsman level, so family-oriented that it's not just the commitment by the driver or the owner, usually the same person in most cases, but it's the family that, you know, lets dad sneak away on countless weekends all summer maintaining the car and, you know, giving up other family vacations so they can come to races instead. So definitely a family commitment, not just a one-man show.
For sure, Shane. And I know Danny has about 15, 20 people back in the campgrounds that support him week in and week out. And his father, Terry Beauchamp, he really has been around it a long, long time. And it's cool to see Dan back, and we'll see what he can do in this second half as just going through that deep, deep mud here early on. See if these guys can brush a little bit more of the clay off here. So Beauchamp will come down in front of the crowd here in Crandon, Wisconsin, and you'll see a couple cones on the right side of your screen. There's one in our camera. He can start at any point in between those. Wait for that green flag, and there it goes. Back underway, Shane.
Yeah, I think he played that smart there because that first cone is right over the top of that first jump on the front straight. So what's the best place to start? Obviously going downhill.
Yeah, absolutely. Get that little run, and here comes Dan Beauchamp with that early lead after that mandatory competition caution halfway point. We'll see where Dan goes as here we go back to the classics.
Aaron Conitzer, your classics leader. Then I believe it's Chestnut in that 613. I believe Wilson is a lap down, which would put Faye Stetsny up into third in the number 698 car. And Conitzer, same story for Conitzer. Start on the downhill side of that jump, get as much momentum as you can right away.
Yeah, and you see Dale Chestnut, he kind of laid back. It's not that he's having any kind of issues. He just didn't want all that mud up into his face. So I figured that was going to be a right choice for him. But at the same time, man, you give up a lot of track time there.
Yeah, well, you know, Chestnut, just like a lot of these guys out here, veteran guy, he's been doing this forever. So that's, you know, a smart play on his behalf. And no doubt his spotters have told Dale Chestnut that Conitzer has shown some steam in the first half of this race. So at this point, probably smarter for Chestnut just to hang back, save the car, knowing that there's another race tomorrow, and maybe just see how the chips fall with Conitzer's steam problem.
Yeah, absolutely. He's trying everything under his power just to wait his turn, and Conitzer, he sees it different. Look at this. We have a swap for the lead. Maybe Dan Beauchamp had some issues going through Argonne turn.
He's got
And
a
it looks
flat
like-
right front.
Yeah, man, a flat right front. Hopefully I didn't jinx Danny. Earlier he told me if something happens, it could cost him the championship, but if he can stay out there, he'll be all right.
Yeah, flat tire probably not critical to him finishing this race, but right now, Randy Scheidel is your race leader in Formula 4x4, trying to put an end to that win streak by Beauchamp.
Boy, I'm sure Randy's on the radio with one of his guys trying to talk where Dan's at. They should be telling him that Dan has a right front flat tire, because if you're Randy, you don't want to try to overdrive. As we look right here, look at this.
Yeah, trouble. That's down on the Argonne corner. Konitzer got turned around. Looks like Face Detsny had to maybe dodge a little bit, and he goes around.
Man, Shane, it looks like a parking lot out there. They're trying to get through, get on the exit. Looks like Konitzer's back underway, but a bedside is definitely ripped off on the left side.
Yeah, so that's going to hand the race lead in Classics over to Chestnut now, who is your points leader as well. So, man, what a tough break for Konitzer, trying to close that already small points gap between Chestnut and himself.
Man, that mandatory competition caution, when it came out, it looked like we had our race winners set, but man, that just got thrown out the window. Scheidel's now out front. Randy doing a fine job. He's been fast all year, though. He's been right there, but Dan's been pretty much perfect.
Once again, down past the crowd, there's Konitzer running second in Classics. And he's about a straightaway and a half behind race leader Dale Chestnut. Chestnut, of course, had Nick Bing filling in for him at a few events this year. And then when the World Championship weekend 3 weeks ago came around, Dale said, "No way, Nick, I'm getting in the driver's seat for this one." Had a terrific weekend.
Yeah, he did. Nick Bing did a fine job. You'll see him later on in Super Stock Truck, which, man, the points are going to come down right to the end in that class as well. As we come back to Forest County Potawatomi, turn number 1. Scheidel is still out front, getting around Dan Beauchamp, who's having a right front tire issue. We'll have to see how that's going. We'll have to babysit the 426.
Yeah, Rowdy Randy's going to have to deal with some lap traffic here as he goes through turn 2. That's Bill Wilson from the Classics race.
Yeah,
Let's
Wilson.
see, definitely not trying to push the issue there. Of course, you know, Randy's spotter's got to be telling him that he has a huge lead over Beauchamp. You see, finally he's going to go down to the inside. This is four-wheel drive against two-wheel drive, so should be no trouble at all for Scheidel to get clear, and he does.
Yeah, Scheidel going really, really wide up on the top side of the gravel pit. Coming towards one of the biggest jumps on the track, the Polaris launch zone. Setting it down. I guarantee you'll see a lot more air as this track dries out. The Conrad's Auto Salvage truck gonna take the white flag this time by. So can Randy Scheidel get it done, Shane?
Yeah, trying to put an end to Dan Beauchamp's 8-race win streak entering this weekend. Coming into this weekend, Beauchamp, I think, was 3 total points short of winning every possible point with the bonus points that you get for leading at halfway. So having a tremendous year, no doubt, and if he can hold on for second, we'll still be in control of the points chase. But Rowdy Randy trying to make a statement here with a win in round number 9 as we take a look at Face Detsny, who is our regular starter here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. In fact, flags all year for the Champ Off-Road Series. Dusted off the old race car, 11-time world champion.
Yeah, unbelievable. Always bringing his face to Crandon, doing a fine job in the flag booth and as well on the track. Look at Randy. He's getting all sideways tank swap in that machine. He just needs to get it together, bring it through Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1.
Yeah, Scheidel
One
getting
final time.
Scheidel getting a little crossed up in the dirt. We call him Rowdy Randy for a reason. It's not because he's a calm driver.
No, absolutely. We talked about Dan being calm, cool, and collected. Randy, he throws it to the floor. He just wants to run as hard as he can. He's going to come through the barn turn one final time. It looks like he still has all 4 tires, still full of air. Everything looks to be intact. A couple turns to go, heading towards the gravel pit one final time.
Look at that, just full send into the gravel pit. Definitely not taking it easy, even though he's about 2 full straightaways now ahead of Dan Beauchamp. So he'll go up and over the Polaris jump one final time and into Calamity Corner.
Yeah, looks like he's going to do it. Tiptoeing his way through. Come on, Randy, make it one final time. He's going to look right at the checkered flag. A big win, knocking Dan Boshaw off that win streak, as Dan is well behind because of a right front flat tire. It looked like Dan was going to do what he did all year long and run away and hide, but today it's been different.
Yeah, a little bit of bad fortune, and I mean, still, if that's as bad as his luck gets this year, to have 8 wins and then unfortunately get a flat tire and finish second, my goodness, that's a pretty good year for Boshaw so far.
Absolutely. A good season for Dan Boshaw. 1 round to go. This is round 9, and looks like Conitzer, he's got a left front flat or left front damage as well. Maybe a suspension issue. He's seesawing that wheel around.
Yeah, Conitzer still just battling this mud as he actually passes Jake Anderson in the Formula 4x4. There's the checkered flag for the 477 of John Holtz, who I believe was 3rd in Formula 4x4.
Everyone trying to limp their way through the finish line here. Like I said, this tough layout early on this morning. Track is now starting to work its way in. We see a lot of heavy rain that came through before this weekend. We wanted to leave the track alone, make the best possible race facility, and they're trying to do it here as Aaron Conitzer bringing it through. One final right-hander, hard on the binders, trying to get through the last turn, and there it is in second.
Hold on for second, as Chestnut did manage to complete that final lap and take the win in Classics, so Chestnut able to stretch that very small points lead by a couple more points there.
Looks like Anderson coming across right behind Conitzer, showing some smoke. So a lot of cleaning left to do here this weekend for a lot of these drivers, as it looks like Dale Chestnut has some right front damage on that truck as well. So really tough here on these vehicles.
Yeah, in ideal racing conditions, these guys will thrive. Well, some races you just have to survive, and that's all it takes.
Yep, surviving is a big thing, as Randy, he's going to be one happy camper getting out of that truck, taking the big win here, the first race of the day.
Say about that.
It really is. The energy is high down here for our first podium of the weekend. We're going to start out grabbing a word with John Holtz, our 3rd place finisher. Man, first class out of the day, no easy feat, but it's good to see you here on the box. Talk me through that one.
Yeah, that was some deep mud. There's just no groove. It was a lot of fun, but it was a big mess.
Who would you like to thank?
We got to thank Knutson Engineering, Global Fab. My boss is here, Darwin, Bonnie, thanks a lot. Competition specialist, building our motors. And the crew's favorite, Pure Glass Vodka.
John Holtz, our 3rd place finisher. Congratulations. And Danny Boshaw, you have had a perfect season, but if this is the worst luck you're going to have, this is not so bad. Now, I know you're a veteran of Crandon International Off-Road, and you've raced in these conditions too. So tell me, what exactly did it take there, the last half of this race, to bring this truck all the way to victory lane?
Right. The track was so wet, like there really wasn't a good line to find. Maybe in a couple races here there might be. But apparently I had a flat tire, he just told me. I didn't know I had a flat tire, but that would be why I kept spinning out there. And my brakes didn't work halfway through. The transmission quit coming down the back straightaway. And then it came back. And then myself at that point was like dying, but Randy drove an awesome race. Just to be there behind me when I made that mistake, that's where he had to be. And yeah, I just was out there having fun and trying to find the quick way through.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
This is Danny Boshaw, our 2nd place finisher. And your winner, Randy Scheidel. You kept the pressure on there and you were able to capitalize. And I know you've been so close all season. So how good does it feel? What are the emotions right now, this first win of the season?
Feels awesome. I knew it was going to be a tough run out here with the rain. We redid a bunch of resetting on the truck. Well, that didn't help because of the mud, obviously. But we got it done. After restart, I just kept tight and I was hoping he would just one little mistake to get around. Well, every corner is a mistake because all you do is push. So it went good. Finished. That's awesome. Didn't break, didn't roll, double plus. So we're good to go. Awesome. Hopefully tomorrow it dries up and we can hit it hard and see what the trucks are all about.
Who would you like to thank for the win?
I want to thank everybody for coming out here in the Mud Fest and enjoying it. Appreciate it. Woo! But that's the first start. The track's only going to get better the rest of the day, so hope you enjoy everything. And I'd like to thank Conrad's Auto Salvage, Ben Pesa for pushing us to keep us on the track, and motivation. That's number key right there. I've wanted to quit many times, but you know, keep going, you'll succeed. So thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate it. Enjoy your day.
This is Conrad's Auto Salvage Formula 4x4 winner, Randy Scheidel.
Take it away.
We do Faye Stetsny, who is our official championship off-road flagman. You only come out for a few rounds this year to race Crandon, and it's been so good to see you race. Another podium for you here at Crandon. How about that?
Well, Grandma's car brought me back on the podium again. Thanks for Austin Smith is helping me out today, doing the halfway flagging for me so I could race. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't have had to stay up there. But we had a good race. It's just the track is so muddy. It's been a long time since I've seen it this bad. It's pretty. I didn't think it was going to be like this, but we tried.
Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank my sponsors, but I don't have any. So I guess I could thank Jeff's for spotting for me, and Rick for helping me get belted in, and Double D Services for sponsoring our class.
Congratulations on the podium. This is Faye Stetsny. I know he's got to head back to the flag stand. And Aaron Conitzer. It looked like out there you had a left front damage or even front end damage there. How did you manage to push this truck all the way to the podium?
I don't think we had any front damage. I spun out and backed into Faye, so I had a little rear damage, but mostly just cosmetic.
Who would you like to thank for the podium?
I got to thank Grave Transport, Schwitty Farms, John Barkey Real Estate, my family and crew. We had to do a few last minute adjustments and stuff here for the mud, but we got through her.
And he's been so consistent this year. Congratulations, Aaron Conitzer, our second place finisher.
Thanks.
And your winner, Dale Chestnut. Dale, when you were able to claim the lead, you found clean air. What were your thoughts at that point in the race?
Well, it was just try and drive smart, try and drive careful. It was really a physically and mentally demanding race on you because the track kind of put you some places you didn't want to be. So you just had to hope for the best outcome and hope you didn't make any big mistakes. And Aaron was doing a good job there, and I just had to make sure I ran the best line I could to stay ahead.
Who would you like to thank?
Well, first I'd like to shout out to the Canadians that can't be here with us. But I'd like to thank the Turo Tires, Ultra Wheels, AMSOIL, OffroadFraternity.com, Automatic Transmission Design, everybody else that helps us out, all the fans, my crew, family, all my friends, and just everybody else. It's a great time.
Congratulations, Dale Chestnut. This is your D&D Services Classics Top 3. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Line. So if you're starting up front like Visser and them, you have that advantage. You really can just stay out front, keep clear of the mud, and you have to be perfect, though. You get out of that race line, it could be over.
Hey, there's our green flag for the Muskego Crane Service short course karts. Looks like Connor Lacoste got a great jump off that start. He's going to stretch his lead early over Visser and the rest of the field. They head past turn number 2 up toward the skyboxes. Lacoste, Visser, Lawrence, Vandevort, and Wanda Siga, your early top 5 as they head down the hill towards the gravel pit.
Yeah, already look at that gap. Our leader is trying to run away and hide, and you can see the track starting to pack in. Now we'll get a bunch of cars on it. You get later on today, we'll have our light buggy, single buggy. We see 30-plus cars, and that'll really help this track develop as Race Visser. Speaking of getting out of that line, he got out of that line and cost him some spots as well.
Yeah, and Lacoste went around. He was the race leader as they went down into the gravel pit. He's going to go all the way to the tail end of the field, so tough break for Connor Lacoste.
Midwest Truck Driving School Ford is off the side of the track. We'll see. They're all in single file trying to climb that hill by the players' launch zone. Trying to get a run already. Look at that. Looks like Aiden Wanasiga now going to move into the second place spot. Going to try to wiggle his way up to that lead.
Yeah, we've seen Wanasiga run up front a couple different times this year, but just had some tough luck in a few different races and really had a roller coaster of a season. So good to see him mixing it up in the top 3 as he's battling Visser right now as they go under the finish line.
Yeah, definitely Aiden Wanasiga. He really didn't have a good year. He's trying to put together a good finish here to end the season. See him swaying back and forth on that steering wheel, trying to stay out of that slimy, muddy dirt here in Crandon as our lead is starting to open up now.
Yeah, that's the number 28 of Ava Lawrence. She came into this weekend second in points. Andy Johnson is your points leader, but I'm looking out the window, Brent. He's way back in about 10th place, so Johnson really struggling. He started in 11th, so having a bit of a hard time working his way around traffic. That's going to really benefit Lawrence in this points chase.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room for passing, you're right, so definitely going to pack on that points battle here. There's Lawrence. Try to work its way. You see those two Colts trying to keep them out of that inside. You don't want them to go on that bottom. There's not a lot of clear space. As you can see that lead right on our camera, about 10, maybe 15 car lengths. And Aiden Wanasiga, he went way to the bottom. We'll see if he can get out of there. He got stuck. I seen on the back of the camera, and there he is, the 97 Richmond Gear Ford.
Yeah, and more tough luck there for Wanasiga. Finally back up to race pace there behind the number 9 of Samuel Lawrence.
Wendrix Truss also on board, some local companies. The kid doing a fine job. As we go back up to Ava in that 28, trying to dodge all those mud puddles here early on. Like we talked, there's not a lot of horsepower in these cars, so you really have to pick your lines perfect, and you have to keep remembering them lap after lap. You know, where am I faster? Just trying to stay out of that sloppy soil.
Yeah, how about this, Brent? Our top 6 cars right now are driven by second or more generation drivers. Every driver in the top 6 right now has a parent that has raced, if not a grandparent.
That is so cool to just see that move on, the legacy of these drivers.
It definitely helps to have those kind of coaches back in your pit, too, that have turned laps here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway and know how to deal with these conditions.
Absolutely. Can coach your kid or your nephew, your niece, whoever you put in one of these trucks. You can help them around this beautiful facility. I promise you it will get better as the day goes on.
Back up front, Ava Lawrence, she came in 22 points behind Andy Johnson, so she is doing everything that she has control over right now by leading this race. And like we said, Johnson well back in the field, struggling to get around some of these other cars as we had some trouble there trying to make out who that was. Might have been the 98 of Gavin Plummer having some issues down there in the gravel pit. Another one of our newcomers to the short course carts this weekend.
Here comes Ava Lawrence through once again, still out front. There's Van Zyl trying to get around Aiden Wanasiga in that 97 ride. Still working their way through. Like I said, not an easy track to negotiate here early on. In rounds number 9, not the track they wanted to see, but man, this is off-road racing. We put down laps no matter what. There's Hunter Van Zyl again. Going to try to work around Aiden Wanasiga. We'll go back to the 44 HPI ride.
Yeah, that's Colin Peidel.
Yeah, Peidel doing a good job.
Yeah, good strong run for Colin Peidel up there in second place. Got his cousin Ella Holcher right behind him in third, as that number 98 is a lap down right now.
Look at Peidel trying to go around slower traffic. You better stay out of there and wait for your opportunity, because that's where it gets really deep there going into the barn turn.
How about this battle of the two cousins? Ella Holcher looked to the outside of Peidel, almost side by side just for a moment, but just not quite enough room to make a move there. You know, fortunately for these short course carts, the Formula 4x4s and Classics wore in a little bit more than one good race line, but these are much smaller cars, so there's enough room for them to go side by side.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit more room. As look at this, trying to crisscross.
Yeah, Colin Peidel's got to be careful. He's being a little bit aggressive, looking for a line around that lap car of Plummer.
Yeah, Plummer trying to get out of the way when they get to the back of him, but he's just trying to stay out of that mud as well. So he's not trying to block the leaders. He's just trying to keep his car moving forward as we're a couple laps in out of 6 laps here in round number 9. Some more slower traffic. We'll see. Lawrence is well out front. Peidel in second. Holger in third. And now we have another car slowing down. That's Mia.
Yeah, Quentin Mia making his first ever start here in short course karts. Splitting that seat now with his brother Xavier. We look back out front with Lawrence. Brent, like I said, she's 22 points down coming into this race. But I was checking my notes a minute ago, and if she can win both rounds and the 13 of Andy Johnson finishes 6th or worse both rounds, that would turn the points championship over to Lawrence. So as it's shaking out right now, Johnson is outside of the top 6, so everything going Ava Lawrence's way right now. She's got a long way to go here to win this championship, but in prime position right now to cut that points lead in half.
Yeah, definitely every point counts here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway, especially here at Champ Off-Road. The weekend is going to wind down very, very quickly, so you pick as many points off as possible. Still out front, Lawrence, then it's Peidel, Holger, Visser.
There goes Peidel making his move on Gavin Plummer, who's a lap down. Plummer had some issues early on there in the gravel pit. You can see the track crews did put some cones out there to kind of help guide these kids around.
Yeah, they didn't want to see him go tight into that gravel pit. They'd have been stuck, all of them. So we want to see some great racing as we see Peidel now working his way up through, opening up that gap over Holcher. But Ella, she's kind of stuck back there. She really needed to be on the back there to pounce on it before that gravel pit because it's pretty much wide open through that back section.
Yeah, Holcher's still having some problems getting around Plummer, but fortunately for Ella, she's getting a ton of seat time this year because she's also currently leading points in the 170 side-by-side class, so no shortage of seat time. And of course, Colin Peidel races that class as well. As we look back out front, all the way from Thornville, Ohio, Ava Lawrence putting on a show right now. Pretty comfortable lead over the rest of this field.
Yeah, she's just doing what she needs to do, just being calm, cool, and collected, running through the barn turn one more time. Very, very clean out in front. You can see the track's actually packing in, Shane. It looks really, really nice on the race line.
Yeah, good, smooth line there. And actually, the amount of moisture that's in the track, once you can push that top layer off, that's a little bit juicy, like Haley likes to say, the surface underneath is actually really tacky. There's a ton of traction on this clay surface.
Yeah, there is. Once this thing packs in, you'll see that high horsepower start to bite and move forward a little bit quicker. And just, you can't do nothing about Mother Nature. It's really tough on us at points and times during the year, but man, we work around it. This track crew has done a phenomenal job getting it back together as we look at Lawrence still well out in front here in the short course kart class.
Yeah, really cruising right now. You see the gap there. That's still a lap car there. I believe that's the 21 of Lacoste behind Lawrence now. So as she takes the white flag, there's really no threat right now to her race lead. As long as she can keep it clean and stay on the dry line, she's on her way to a victory here in round number 9. And like I said earlier, closing up that points gap between herself and Andy Johnson.
Yeah, definitely. We look on our sheets. Andy Johnson looks like he's now moved into the top 10. About 38 seconds behind our race leader of Ava Lawrence. So doesn't look like he will get the job done here this morning in Crandon in round number 9, but had a chance to talk with them and his father Casey, and he's going to move him up into the mod kart class next year. So he's just trying to keep his feet wet, keep driving, doing a phenomenal job. They love to win the points championship, and they're doing what they need to do to keep out front. So today it's all about Ava Lawrence though, Shane.
Yeah, making that long haul from Ohio pay off. Of course, we talked about some of the second-generation drivers. Well, her dad, Scotty Lawrence, we'll see him later in both Pro Mod side-by-side and in Pro 4. So as I said earlier, no shortage of great coaches here for these young short course kart drivers.
Yeah, that's what's so cool. That's what these drivers love. You need to have your eyes in the sky. Make sure you stay out of this sloppy soil. And Ava doing what she needs to do. Like I say, she's going to come over that Polaris flyaway jump one final time. Her eyes will be set on that finish line turn. Slower truck off the side now is parked. Looks like Mia in that 75 first time out. Tough break.
Here's the checkered flag. Your round 9 winner in the Muskego Crane Service short course karts is Ava Lawrence, all the way from Thornville, Ohio, in that Rival Motorsports machine. And really taking a big bite out of that points lead that Johnson had coming into this weekend.
Yeah, it's not like Dan Boshaw when he finished second behind Randy. You know, he didn't lose a lot of points, but if you're Johnson, you lost quite a few points. Finishing up here probably in the top 10, but man, far back. He'll click off as many points as he can as they cross the finish line. There's Wanasiga. Gonna click off a solid run here this afternoon. The checkered flag still flying. We're waiting for the rest of the field to come around.
Yeah, Colin Peitel did finish second. He held on over his cousin Ella Holcher. A good showing for the HBI cars here in short course karts. But Ava Lawrence, the woman of the hour right now.
Ella, congratulations. Another podium for you here in the short course karts. Tell me, how much of a challenge is this one? That track does not look easy to navigate.
No, yeah, it was really hard. Coming off of the gravel pit, you were going spinning around everywhere. It was so hard. So I was hoping, please hopefully finish the race, and yeah.
Is it that much trickier when you are keeping the pressure on your cousin?
What?
Is it that much trickier to keep the pressure on then when you're putting pressure on your cousin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would you like to thank?
All my sponsors, my mom, my dad, my grandma and grandpa, my pa, Uncle Scotty, and Steph and Uncle Craig, and my best friend Carla.
Ella Holcher, congratulations on the podium. And Colin Peitel. Congratulations on the silver medal here. Tell me, what was it taking to hold off the pressure coming from Ella?
I don't know.
Well, tell me more about the race. How was it out there?
It was good. It was just really slippery.
Well, you made it happen. You made some results here today nonetheless. Who would you like to thank?
All my sponsors, my mom, my dad, my uncle, my aunt, my grandma, my grandpa, my little brother. Yeah.
Colin Peitel, congratulations on the second place finish. And her first career win, first win of the season too for this class, Ava Lawrence. Congratulations on the big win. You took a big bite out of the points championship chase, but tell me about that race because you made it look easy. Was it smooth sailing for you?
Well, right off the bat, I was kind of bummed that we were starting in last and, the weather wasn't working out for us. And once we started, I didn't have a plan, so the inside for the barn turn kind of opened up for me, and I got third right off the start. And then second place went into the mushy stuff in the gravel pit, and that was an easy pass. So, and I'm not really sure how I got around first place, but I did. And then whenever I got around him, no emotions were coming because I didn't really want to get my hopes up if something had happened. And I saw the white flag and I just got so excited. and I had it locked in.
I know you were so excited, but you managed to stay cool, calm, and collected like you needed to. Who would you like to thank for the big win?
I'd like to thank my mom and my dad. My dad for spotting for me and keeping me calm during the whole race. Rival Motorsports for getting me into the car, and my family that's watching from home, my family that's come out this weekend, and my siblings.
Congratulations. This is Ava Lawrence. Ain't no win like your first career win. This is Ava Lawrence here, your winner of the Muskego Crane Service Short Course Karts.
Park River, Michigan starts on the pole on the inside. Alongside him from Seymour, it's Chase Miller. From Felch, Michigan, the number 212 is Antonio Inglesi. And from Oconomowoc, number 207 is Michael Funk. From Felch, Michigan. Again, the 201 is Porter Inglesi, the other Inglesi car out there in the field. 231, he's from Bark River. It's Zach Rahanowitz. Currently second place in points from Tomahawk. Number 213 is Easton Easy E Sleeper. And from Lena, your current points leader, the number 290 is Sam Marquardt.
There they go. The green flag is flowing. Watch as they come into Forest County. Potawatomi turn number 1. Look at this. Easton Sleeper definitely not sleeping on the start, taking the whole shot.
Yeah, great jump there by Sleeper. And unfortunately for Marquardt, he got pushed out into the soft stuff, and he's all the way back in 7th place. You see Johnson settled in for 2nd, and one of the Inglesis running there in 3rd.
Yeah, Inglesi's doing a good job already up to 3rd spot, but I'll tell you, Sleeper definitely was paying attention on that start, and he blew everyone out of the water.
Yeah, he's already got about a 7 or 8 truck length lead over Johnson as they head down into the gravel pit. You can see these guys hanging the back end out a little bit, driving with the rear end.
Yeah, trying to stay in that race line as we watch as the short course cars just got off the track. It's starting to dry out a little bit more as we get more cars on it. Here we go already.
Yeah, pass for 2nd there as Inglesi, the 212. Antonio Inglesi put the move on Johnson. That's a little bit of Bark River against Felch action going on there.
Absolutely. Here we go. Already Sleeper just doing what he needs to do out front. There's a 212 of Inglesi coming by what will be our barn turn throughout the weekend. You'll see some big jump action going off. You have to rotate in the air to carry your speed through. It's very, very technical, as you see, as we get another cool shot like we've seen all year long from our drone coverage.
Saw Marquardt trying to work his way up around the couple of cars in the middle of the field. He's on the charge right now, and up front we've got a race for the lead between Inglesi and that 212 and the 213 of Sleeper. Bumper to bumper as they head up and over the Polaris jump and down toward Calamity Corner.
Yeah, Inglesi's trying to work outside, inside. Remember, the line is not that wide as he's going to go in that loamy, soupy stuff.
Yeah, it's almost building kind of a cushion out there that Inglesi used to his advantage. Not able to really threaten Sleeper there, though. Back out onto the front straight they come. About 3 car lengths now separating our battle for the race lead.
Sleeper still out in front, going through the barn turn one more time. Can't say enough about Todd Sleeper and all the guys back in the pits. They do a fine job, and it looks like Inglesi's going to make a little bit of a run on that inside chain.
Yeah, Antonio Inglesi found something there, found a little bit of speed on the inside as they went past the barn turn. So that's something to keep an eye on. Looks like Sleeper is going to stay in front for now, but Inglesi definitely closed the gap that time down the hill.
Here comes Inglesi all over the back bumper of Easton Sleeper again in that 213. Lime green and black ride, just sticking to that inside, trying to play the protected line. Sometimes that can cost you, but he did a good job as he goes over the couple roller jumps early.
Starting to look like maybe Sleeper is a little bit faster from, say, the Polaris jump all the way through turn 2, and then the rest of the track, maybe Inglesi a little bit faster. So interesting battle here for the race lead as the other Inglesi, Porter Inglesi, has moved up into 3rd with Marquardt 4th.
Yeah, you see Johnson fell back in the 211 to 6th and had a chance to talk with his dad earlier this morning like we were talking about Andy. Troy, he really having some issues with the chains on those machines, trying to keep it perfect. They're going to strip that truck down right to nothing over the winter and get it back to normal. They just said they're out here just trying to finish the season. They know they've had some gremlins, and if anybody can do it, Casey Johnson's been around a long time. Very smart individual.
Yeah, we're giving a lot of attention to the points battles here as we crown championships tomorrow here for the Champ Off-Road Series, but even the guys further on back in the points chase, they still got a lot to race for and try to build some momentum as we look ahead to 2021.
Yeah, definitely. If you're not going to win the points, Shane, you're still going to go out for a win. You want to win every race you come to. I mean, as a race car driver, you try to pick away as many W's as you can, and I don't care if you're in 6th, 7th, 9th, 10th, you're out there to try to pick as many points off as possible. As you see now, our top 2 have opened up about a 10-12 car length gap.
Let's see if Inglesi can get another run. He does here on Sleeper. Almost bumper to bumper again as they come past the skyboxes. Looks like it's going to take Inglesi getting a run like that, then maybe stepping off the race line just a little bit in the gravel pit corner if he's going to put a move on Sleeper, because that's where he's definitely faster.
Yeah, definitely. You can see it right there. Look at him. He's buttoning up once again, and this is where Inglesi's really, really fast. We'll see if he can go outside, inside, as Sleeper is doing a nice job. Watch him play that protected line on the bottom, just hitting that cushion.
Yeah, you got to be careful there. You saw the standing water on the inside of Calamity Corner as we've reached our mid-race competition yellow. How about that? The 201 of Porter and Inglesi closed the gap there in the final few turns on the two race leaders. So there you see Easy East and Sleeper running out front here at halfway.
Man, he shot out of a cannon on that start. I don't know, their gear ratio's perfect. That clutch is set perfect. I mean, you talk about these cars, there's a lot that goes in one of these cars. If you ask me, they're just a shrunk down Pro 2, Pro 4. You can rip the body panels off, take the tires off, you name it. They strip them right down to the chrome ollie. And they do it just like the big boys. So it's cool. As a kid, you get so much to look forward to.
Brett, I'm looking at our electronic scoring here, and Marquardt has fallen behind by a lap, and I don't see him running out there in the race order. In fact, he's making some off-the-pace laps. Still out there on the track. We're going to send it down trackside to Haley Shanley. Haley, what do you have for us?
Well, like we saw at the last podium, like I said, there's ain't no win like your first career win. Just the last round we had here at Crandon Off-Road, we had a first-time winner in the class, Porter Inglesi, and that was actually for the World Championship, so no doubt an exciting one for him. His brother also rounded out the podium in third that same day. Another first-time podium finisher, Chase Muller. And now all three drivers are running the series full-time this year, and currently we have had 7 different podium finishers in this class, so much talent. And to mention those Inglesi brothers, they are currently second and third in this one.
Yeah, thank you, Haley. And she talked about 7 different podium finishers in this class. As you see, it's not an enormous class, so very competitive, very evenly matched, these mod carts.
Yeah, anyone can win at any given time as we go back up. Richie Kulof's going to take these guys around a couple times. Easton Sleeper with your lead. Then it's Inglesi in second and third. Then it's Funk Johnson now in the top 5. We'll see if Johnson can try to pick his way back up through the field. But right now it's been all Sleeper.
Yeah, and Marquardt nowhere to be found. So, you know, I'm looking at my notes that I put together before this event. Marquardt needed to finish 6th or better in each round to secure that points championship after round number 10, and he's not in the top 6 right now. So Easton Sleeper, who's second in points, as we see Marquardt still just trying to keep up and rejoin the field here, making some laps, trying to get any single point he can. So
absolutely, here we go, Shane. We're back to green flag racing. Can Inglesi take over that top spot, or can Easton Sleeper hold on? Halfway point has just gone by, so we'll see how this one shakes out.
Bumper to bumper battling as they head down into that gravel pit turn.
Boy, Inglesi's wishing this track was dried out a little bit wider. You seen him trying to sneak out. Now he's going to go back to the bottom, trying to move Sleeper out of the line. Can't do it. This is where he shows a lot of speed, though, Shane.
Yeah, again, stepping out of line just a little bit. And you're pointing at Mike Funk in that 4th place spot. He's sticking with these guys as well, so.
Yeah, Funk's not going away. Here we go, back into the finish line turn. Inglesi going to the bottom. No room, he had to get hard on the binders again.
Yeah, a little Inglesi on Inglesi contact there. Antonio in second right now. He's got to be careful because Porter is right on his bumper as well. So if he steps a little bit too far out of line trying to get around Sleeper, he's going to get passed by his brother.
Absolutely. He has to really babysit that second, third place spot. I mean, he wants to hold on to second, but that's how quick things can change. If you're Easton Sleeper right now, you're hoping those guys do battle. He can just check out and win this thing.
Yeah, it looks like he was able to stretch his lead just a little bit, maybe 5-6 truck lengths now as they again head down into that gravel pit turn.
And already you can see the speeds are starting to pick up, Shane. These mod carts are starting to hook up and go a lot faster. We see pretty much a one-line run going into the gravel pit, and then you exit. Still pretty single file as you see Marquardt off the side of our screen getting towed. So definitely a tough break for him, especially in the points.
Yeah, again, very fortuitous turn of events there for Sleeper, who leads this race. 3 laps to go this time. Antonio Inglesi still giving chase there in second.
Sleeper just watching his lines. I love watching these kids. And Stephanie Pidle, she was saying in the interview that how it's so cool to watch these kids progress. Watch them learn what it is. Hey, the top 3, that's our winners. Everyone on back, hey, not everyone gets a ribbon every day, so you have to have your A game on. You have to fight forward as you see a little cross-up action going on in third there. Inglesi.
Yeah, that's Porter Inglesi in that number 201, and he's fallen well back of our top 2. So again, just a 2-horse race here for this race lead.
Man, I'm thinking ahead into the 1600 light buggy coming up. It is going to be a tough track. Hopefully they got their tires on right, the right tire grooving to be exact, because, man, this track is still pretty sloppy as we see a 1 race line track here this afternoon. As Inglesi now trying to reel in Sleeper again, a lot of time remaining.
Again, closing that gap between Sleeper and himself. As they take the cutoff corner onto the front straight around the old Parsons Pond. I know a few of our loyal fans joining us here this weekend or watching online that'll remember Parsons Pond and know exactly what I'm talking about, the old pond in the middle of the racetrack. Long since been filled in.
Definitely, I remember that. The nice fence that they had. We always were scared who was going to go in the pond first on the weekend. Look at this run. Look at the run by Inglesi coming on the outside, going to try to make it stick. He's going to run out of traffic room there. The real estate definitely going to go away. See, you can't cross over. There's no line.
Yeah, even though Inglesi ran out of room there, that was some tremendous driving because he just about got hung out to dry into the soft stuff and was able to gather it back up and fall into the race line.
Wow.
But we've known for a few laps now that's going to be where he tries to make his move. He gets some incredible run coming down off that skybox hill.
Yeah, he really does. Gets a nice run. Going to try to put it together as a white flag comes out one more time. 7 out of 8 laps are in the book. So this is it. Here in Mod Car, can Easton Sleeper get the job done? Wow, and Inglesi goes really wide, getting a little crazy out there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now he's fallen about 8 or 10 truck lengths back. This is the section of the course where we saw Inglesi was definitely faster than Sleeper, but at this point I think he's fallen back too far to really make a move.
Yeah, he's definitely fell back in that 212. Over a second gap now to Easton Sleeper. Can't say enough about that kid. He came into this class, he's trying to get his feet wet, had some gremlins going on, but now his father Todd have this car just dialed in, launched out of that hole shot, did what he needed to do, and he's got one more right-hander.
One last time through Calamity Corner, checkered flag is out, and Easton Sleeper takes the round 9 win in Mod Kart.
Inglesi will finish second in the 212. Then Porter Inglesi will finish in the 201 in third, and Funk should come around in fourth, but a great day for that man right there. Easy E Sleeper in that 213, taking things in his own hands.
Yeah, picks up his second win here in 2020.
As
and again, we've talked about some points leaders having some bad luck. What a tough break for Marquardt to finish all the way back. You know, unofficially we haven't scored as 8th place, so last in the field.
Yeah, tough break, definitely, man. 8th place finish. You're last. I mean, luckily there's not a lot more cars. I mean, the points keep going down as you finish. And Sleeper did what he needed to do. As you look at the Forest County Potawatomi Rush run results, Sleeper Inglesi in the top 3.
At podium.
It really was, and you could throw a blanket over the top 3. Porter Inglesi in third. Porter, a phenomenal run, especially in the last half of that race. Give us your reaction to that performance.
It was just really muddy. It was hard to get around, and just got to the competition caution, and after that I just kept going further back, and it was just really muddy.
Who would you like to thank for the podium finish?
My mom, my dad, Jake's Spin Logging, FCR Logging, Boston Products, Zeeb Trucking, K&B Hauling, Rod Dog custom rod holders, RT welding, Ford off-road logging, and Kurt Reeves.
Porter Inglesi, he's taken home bronze. Congratulations. And Antonio Inglesi in second. Man, Antonio, you did not let Easton out of arm's length there. So tell me, as the white flag comes out, what were you telling yourself at that point?
Well, I was trying to just make sure I could stay out of the mud, because I did go into the mud a little bit and it really slowed me down. And my dad was really helping, keeping me calm. And I thought I could have something for him, but I just couldn't pass him clean enough.
Maybe just a few more laps I'm sure you were hoping for. Who would you like to thank?
My mom, my dad, FCR, Jacobson Logging, K&B Hauling and Excavating, Rod Dog, Rod Holders, RT Welding Supply, Ford Off-Road Logging, Kurt Greaves, Kyle Greaves, my Uncle Mike, my cousin Joe, and Donald Trump.
Antonio Inglesi in second. Congrats. And your winner, Easy E Easton Sleeper. This ain't his first rodeo. He's back on top. Easton, a wire-to-wire win. Obviously, that whole shot is so important to find that clean air in track conditions like this especially. But what else was key for you today?
Just keeping it in the dry dirt. Hacked in the mud a lot, and it was just bogging out, keeping it downshifting, upshifting. I don't even know what to say right now. So happy. Second win. I can't do this without all my sponsors: B&B Power Sports, Off-Road Fraternity, VP Racing Fuels, my mom, my dad, Teresa, my grandma and grandpa, the Kircher family, Off-Road Fraternity, FXR, Doc, NGK, and all my other sponsors. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Second win of the season, Easy E Easton Sleeper. He's taken home gold. Back to you.
The outside, I should say, is your points leader. Alongside him, Fitzgerald. He's a former class champion. You've got Greg Peitel out there, who always seems to have pretty good runs here at Crandon. The Trelstad cars, both of those guys have shown some speed here in the second half of this year, so really anybody's game. Then you got some up-and-comers, so to speak. You got the Alcox brothers out there, Bo Ambos out there, still working on developing that new car. You've also got Tony Keepers back in the field for this weekend. And real quick, want to say happy birthday, Tony. It's his birthday today. He's 35 years old. So
wow, absolutely. What a great day to be back on your birthday. And man, can't say enough about Keepers. It seems like in 2018-19, that's all I talked about in the single buggy class. Very, very quick. And that's what you need to be here in Crandon. This is a high horsepower track, and you really have to keep your ducks in a row as we look up at the flag tower.
Like I said, 16 drivers on the line here. Bo Ambos, Jake Nelson, Steph Peitels in this one. As you see the board slide in yellow, Colton Burns, Luke Alcox, Baczynski. As we are green flag racing here in the one-off graphics 1600 buggy race. Thomas and Travis Trelstrad are out there as well. Craig Peitel, Dylan Parsons, John Fitzgerald, points leader and world champion Billy Booth. Then you've got Dan Martin, Sokovitz, Keepers, and Brad Kell.
Man, looks like Nelson might have got the whole shot.
Yeah, Nelson pulled a whole shot a couple weeks ago here in Crandon. That's a car that he jumped into midway through this year. So got out a light buggy up into 1600 buggy. Of course, his uncle is Mark Ersteiny Steinhardt, the arguably the GOAT of 1600 buggies. So definitely plenty of coaching and know-how in that pit.
Yeah, definitely. Steinhardt, anytime you say that name, you know if he's on your team, you have a chance to win at any given time. You see everyone getting through there decently clean as we go in the gravel pit. And you're right, look, we did a lot of track prep, so there's a lot more room to play around here. Might be a little bit loamy on that bottom side, but I can guarantee it'll start to dry out as we work in these laps here in the first half.
Yeah, taking a look out front, it's Nelson in that 341, then Dylan Parsons. And how about that? Tony Keepers started on the second row, started in 15th. He's all the way up to third.
Wow, Keepers on his birthday gonna try to reel in that guy right there. Jake Nelson, that 341, very, very quick. We go on board with our drone shot going through Argonne Turn, that little switchback. One of my favorite sections here at Crandon. You go, it's so off camera, and then you got to rotate it back to the left and carry that speed. Then you have a long, long straightaway back towards our starting line here in Crandon.
Yeah, that series of turns really takes graceful driving, and even more so in these conditions. It's, less traffic has gone back there with our two short course races between the short course karts and mod karts. So this back section, as they head down into Cowboy Corner, that's a little bit more greasy back there, so that's something to keep an eye on as well.
Absolutely. Here comes Keepers. Tony Keepers, that 352, going to try to work through that mud. Running down Jake Nelson. There's a car way off the track.
Yeah, that's one of those Trailstad cars. Parsons was running in second. He had some trouble back there in Cowboy Corner by our start line. But as the second time they come through turn number 1, it's still Nelson pulled that great hole shot. But look at this run by Keepers right now, having an absolutely great first couple laps here.
Man, Keepers hasn't missed a heartbeat, missing so many races. He's already challenging for this top spot on his birthday, like we said. So what a great day it would be if he can lay down that top spot here in 1600 single buggy. There's Jake Nelson. Going to head into the gravel pit, and we'll get a good look at this turn now, Shane.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of traction down there. You don't see a whole lot of sawing at the wheel. Cars aren't really pushing through it too badly. Looks like pretty good bite coming out of the corner. Cars getting up to speed quickly. So, again, the Wizards behind the scenes here at Crandon International doing an absolutely fantastic job managing the moisture in this track right now.
Yeah, a lot of people complained, and you heard it back in the pits, like, why aren't we practicing? Why aren't we qualifying? But at the same time, Crandon knows how to do things. They know how to keep the track perfect. You get on it too early or after a rainstorm, you could destroy the whole track, and it'd take them the whole weekend to get it back. So if you don't understand really how things work, building and prepping, you just got to kind of sit back and just take what you have and try to work with it. As we look back up front, that's Jake Nelson going a little bit wide. Keepers trying to plug away at that lead.
Yeah, Nelson just pushed out a little bit too far into the greasy dirt on the outside of the Argonne corner. There's your race for the lead, headed back down that long back straightaway. Most of our classes, that'll be the highest speed section of this race course.
Man, you can see, look at Jake Nelson, how clean the front of that car is in the 341. Then you look at Tony Keepers getting all crossed up, trying to go side by side. He has a lot of mud and clay all over the top of that car, so...
Yeah, these are two guys we saw battle quite a bit back in 1600 light buggy as well, so certainly no stranger to racing alongside one of each other. And with that, when you're familiar with your competition, that kind of earns a level of trust. You know that these guys know that they're going to race each other cleanly. They can trust that they're not going to suddenly swap lines. So both drivers can really put a full effort on just winning the race and not, managing traffic.
Absolutely, and you're right. They're very, very competitive, but they have a lot of respect for one another. As you look at Keepers, been out of the game for a little bit, but he's trying to work his way back up to the front. Nelson just holding on to that lead, just doing a fine job running through wherever he can find in that gravel pit.
Haven't seen a whole lot from either of our top two in points. Billy Booth is your points leader here in 1600 with John Fitzgerald trailing. Neither of those guys very close to the front right now.
No, it looks like Fitzgerald in that 312 running in 7th place. So a little bit of work left to do if Johnny Fitzgerald wants to move up front. We talk about this mud. We can't say enough about Mud Muncher and these tear-offs. I was standing by the garbage can actually with Johnny Fitzgerald, and he's throwing away all his old roll-offs, and he's like, it's so nice. You just touch a button, it goes beep, beep, cleans it. And he's like, that's less you have to worry about. You keep the hands on the wheel as long as possible.
Yeah, that's one thing we didn't bring up earlier when talking about these conditions is visibility is obviously super important, and everyone, every driver has that horror story of, I accidentally pulled a tear-off and they all flew off, or I ran out of tear-offs on the second lap and then I was battling for position. You hear guys taking their gloves off, trying to use the inside of their glove to wipe a visor, or using the sleeves of their racing suit, any little bit of dry fabric they can find to keep that shield clean.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you rip off too many at one time and you have to do anything you can, like you were saying. Use your sleeve. Some guys put a towel underneath their leg, especially in conditions like this. Here comes Paczynski in that 324, running about 6 seconds off our race lead.
Yeah, Paczynski comes out of Indiana. He's another veteran guy. He's been around 1600 a long time. So, again, you talk about that seat time, but and especially seat time in these conditions, you have to understand how to manage it. It's not something you can really just hear about and figure it out. You have to have done it before.
Yeah, and a lot of guys know Dan Van Heuvel. Dan Van Heuvel Sr., he's one for the mud. Back in the day, he was the one to watch because he knew how to be calm. He knew how to chill out and wait for his time. And sometimes we say it a lot, slower is faster in these conditions.
Yeah, another guy I think of, especially when it comes to mud races and buggies, is Craig Rabe. It seemed like the worse the track looked, the better Craig Rabe always did. He just had the right driving style. He was able to account for all those difficult conditions. Well, tell you what, that Metz Plumbing car of Nelson, he's accounted for these conditions really well because he's stretching his lead back a little bit now on Tony Keepers.
Yeah, he's opened up the gap. The track's starting to dry out nicely on the race section here. Getting that race line really, really prepped for the later races on here this afternoon as Nelson going by Argonne turn, heading towards the starting line here in Crandon. And there's Keepers about 9-10 car lengths behind now, so we'll have to keep an eye on that lead as we're going to come close to that mandatory competition caution this next time by. There's Mashinsky now still in third, that 324. Looks like Billy Booth now, that 351, going to make that pass. So look at Pajinski, gets out into that loamy dirt, into that mud, allowing Billy Booth. So this could be a turnaround here in this second half because we know Billy Booth can win. He's done it a couple different times.
Yeah, all it took was one tiny mistake there from Pajinski. Look at this. Keepers looks to the inside of Nelson through turn number 2. Looks like it's pretty much one-line racing there through turn 2, though, so you really have to be careful and stay on the race line.
Yeah, if you're Tony Keepers, you want to get around Nelson if you can. I mean, it's not an easy task, but to start this second half, he's sick of throwing tear-offs.
Again, Keepers looks to the inside. Still not really approaching ideal racing conditions down there in the gravel pit, but I tell you, some of these corners are really starting to dry out. We're going to take a look here at Calamity Corner. For sure, one good race line is worn in there.
Yeah, you see the mud puddle there on the inside as we come to that mandatory competition caution. It's going to be Jake Nelson, Tony Keepers, Jeff Pajinski should come in that third place spot a little farther back, but it looks like things have shaken up a little bit more.
Yeah, it's Booth across the line third, Parsons fourth.
Fitzgerald now, look at that. Fitzgerald now in the top 5.
Yeah, Booth and Fitzgerald and Parsons, that's your top 3 in points. So now the cream rising to the top a little bit, but tell you what, we got to give some love to Jake Nelson. Like I said, he pulled a whole shot here a couple of weeks ago on World Championship weekend, maybe surprised a few people, but it was just a matter of time before Nelson, who had a lot of success in light buggy, found his way to the front here in 1600 as well.
Yeah, a little bit more horsepower, a little bit easier to drive, if you ask me. You get a little bit more speed carrying through these turns. Like we say, you say there's more horsepower than light buggy, but still you don't have a lot. You have to be a driver. And I don't care who you are. You sit in one of these cars. I've never gotten the opportunity to drive a buggy, but just watching these guys, they work on their own stuff. They got to put it together time and time again, and it's not easy, especially when you throw the mud at it.
Yeah, you said it all, Brent. And we've got Haley Shanley, the third member of our team, trackside. Haley, what do you have for us about this 1600 buggy race?
Yeah, so in 1600 buggy, a few weeks ago, Labor Day weekend, we saw some of that Crandon magic, a slew of firsts for this class. Billy Booth had his first Crandon win, which happened in the World Championship. Ben Alcox had his first podium in this class. It was long awaited, didn't happen until round 7, but he had been so close a number of times. And like we had talked about during opening ceremonies, Travis Trailstad, his first time to Crandon, he was able to garner a second place finish. And Trailstad and Alcox, they're sitting relatively mid-pack in this one. We'll see if they can find something on the restart. And as you saw just before the competition caution came out, Billy Booth had just breached the top 3.
Yeah, thank you, Haley. Yeah, absolutely. The last lap there, that first half, Billy Booth really on the charge. You can see the amount of mud that he's already accumulated, though. So, yeah, at this point, Booth's kind of getting used to running at least near the front here in 1600. He's got to be just sick and tired of eating all this dirt.
Yeah, definitely, and it's not an easy task to go through those tear-ups. Like we said, vision is everything here, especially on a day like today. But Nelson, keepers, and now Booth at 351 as they're going to get them back rolling. And don't count out Parsons. Parsons showed he was 11 seconds back before that mandatory competition caution, but it's anybody's game now. We'll see who has that good restart ability here in Crandon. In the different conditions here early on. A lot more racing yet to come, but pay attention. We should be going back green flag racing this time by. There are those 2 orange cones. We'll see if Nelson takes off after that little roller. Boy, keepers, he didn't really miss out. He stayed right on the rear bumper of Jake Nelson, so we'll have to see going in that gravel pit. Maybe things will start to open up.
Yeah, good clean restart by everybody. Doesn't look like anybody got caught sleeping, really. They head past the skyboxes and down for the gravel pit turn. Fitzgerald on the inside of Parsons making a move. They're side by side. Something's got to give there. There's not enough room for 2 cars on the race line.
Yeah, you seen that. He snuck underneath going by the sweets here in Crandon, as we'll see if keepers can run down our race leader. He's been definitely fast enough, but we'll see as the track tries to widen out if anything can be possible here.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of aggressive maneuvering, or I should say trying some aggressive lines by keepers, because there's not a ton of passing room. Like you said, obviously keepers has the speed right now. He's been basically right on Nelson's back bumper throughout that whole first half of that race. Booth still trying to stay in the conversation as well.
Yeah, he really is. He's right there. He's coming into our camera. He might be trying to run that half a line off, just tiptoeing his way through, trying to carry his speed into that heavy dirt. And here comes Fitz. Johnny Fitzgerald has that roll-off system like we said, so he's just pressing a button in there. He's not rotating his arms across his face shield. He's just trying to keep that vision clear. As look at these 5 cars all in lockstep. Anybody's gain here so far in this second half. Wyszynski throwing a lot of smoke out.
Here goes keepers trying to go alongside Nelson, setting up for outside of turn number 1. Almost wheel to wheel as they head for Forest County Potawatomi. Turn number 1, Nelson's on the inside.
Here comes keepers a long way around. He's going to do it, Shane. He makes that pass stick. You have a new race leader, Crandon. Tony Keepers on his birthday laying it down.
Now Nelson's got a back bumper just full of Billy Booth, so battle for second and third. Definitely a long way to go in that one as well. Unreal run right now for keepers. Started on the second row outside the points inversion. First time out this year in 1600, and he's found his way all the way to the front.
Yeah, he didn't miss a heartbeat. Like I said earlier, he's very, very quick. He's won a lot of races. So dominant back in 2019 and 18. Mark Steinhardt's old ride in single buggy, making it still happen, just glazing that little mud hole. He was going through it earlier a little bit with that right front. Now he found the perfect line, and he's definitely trying to check out now.
Got to be such a sigh of relief for keepers, too, that he can finally stop worrying about managing visibility. He can just, you know, I don't want to say relax, but settle in a little bit as, hey, our battle for second still heating up even more.
Yeah, Billy Booth going to try to look to the inside as we look at our race leader. Still up front, keepers. It looked like Booth got a little wide. Might cost him a spot here on exit. Here comes John Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Fitz has a great run going down the backstretch, headed for Cowboy Corner. They're almost bumper to bumper. That's your battle for third. Parsons trying to get his nose in there as well.
Fitz trying to outbreak Billy Booth. Billy Booth holding on to that spot, just missing his right rear tire.
Look at that group of guys. You think about successful drivers from 1600 buggy over the last couple of years. What a great group of guys we've got in this top 5. Some of the best younger representatives of sportsman racing are putting it on display right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at that. We're seeing a little bit of dust. I told you this track will start to work in. Billy Booth going by the barn turn one more time. We're about 5 laps in out of 8. So Keeper's definitely doing what he needs to do. There's Fitz in the 312 heading towards the gravel pit.
Yeah, I can't believe how Keepers has stretched his lead so far. Took him a long time to get around Nelson, but man, once he did, he's just checked out. As you look at Fitzgerald looking down to the inside.
Yeah, Fitz trying to feather that throttle, get it through that mud. It looks like he's a little bit quicker than Billy Booth. We'll see how wide Billy makes his car. But these guys have a lot of respect for one another. They've been in a lot of different classes growing up, so they know how to maintain a lead. Oh, look at this. Parsons trying to go inside of Fitz.
Oh, they're hooked up a little bit, Brent. Still hooked up.
And I got a glimpse of our flag man. The white flag is out that time by, so 1 to go.
Look at that. The wheel foam out of Dylan Parsons' left rear wheel is stuck over on the Nerf bar of John Fitzgerald's car. That tells you how tangled up they really were. Good driving by both of those guys to get it figured out quickly enough that one of them didn't end up spun the wrong way around.
There's Jake Nelson still in second. Nowhere to be found is Tony Keepers. He's well out front. He's checked out on this field. 4.5 second lead to be exact. With a couple turns to go for Keepers, it's Nelson Booth in third. And there's John Fitzgerald about 6 seconds back from that man. Tony Keepers coming back to Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1 on his birthday. Can he get the job done? Been out of the sport for a little while. He's showing these guys, man, hey, I still know how to put it together.
Yeah, took the rest of this year off, decided to come out and play here in rounds 9 and 10, and I got to think for the rest of the field that's watching Tony Keepers pull away, they're like, my goodness, we're going to have to deal with you next year too, along with the rest of this really competitive group of guys.
Yeah, absolutely. He will be one to watch in that 352 Argonne lumber car. Very, very quick here. One more turn to go after this straightaway. Going to go over the players' flyaway jump. Later on, you'll see trucks jumping 100+ feet. As you see him coming in, one final time, Shane. Here he is.
There's the checkered flag. Your race winner on his birthday, it's Tony Keepers from just up the road in Argonne. He'll take the win here in round number 9 of the one-off graphic 1600 buggy race. Nelson, a great run for him, holding on for second. He was leading at halfway. And Booth is going to have to settle for third.
Yeah,
in that three-way points battle for the championship, looking ahead to tomorrow a little bit, Booth going to stretch his lead by a couple points there, but that one's still tight. We'll have to take a look at the numbers after it's all sorted out. One of the tightest points battles in all the sportsman divisions here in Championship Off-Road.
The man of the hour, Tony Keepers, on top of the box here this morning. The 341 of Nelson will come in second. Booth will be in third in the 351. Parsons. Then it's Fitzgerald, Charleston, Pashinsky, Heidel, and Ambos around out your top 10.
And it really was, and good, clean racing like we love to see. Billy Booth, you had some work to do there. What was this one demanding of you?
Oh, man, it was starting where we started just wasn't good. We got out in the track, and it just sucked the car up. And me and John came to the corner probably 11th and 12th, and really this week we're just racing John and Dylan a little bit for that point championship. So, work through traffic clean, patient. You can't jump out of line. That'll suck all your power. If you go around, that's the end of the world. So I got a bit of experience doing this, and just kind of drew on that. And we got bigger things to worry about. So there's what we need. We need the 2/3 coming in, and if I do my math, probably the 7th, 8th tomorrow to wrap this up. So we got to get all cleaned up, ready to go for light buggy here, and I think I'll have a big advantage there. So just take some more dry stir offs. I'll turn machine tool. Everybody's helping us out this weekend. Greg Dinsmore, one-off graphics sponsoring the class, and just look forward to get back out there and see what we can handle. So thank you.
P3, another podium for Billy Booth. And Jake Nelson. Jake, this thing has been a whole shot machine, and it was again today. Now, what did you have to do to be able to hang on for a commendable podium finish here? Because you certainly had the speed throughout.
Well, I knew I had to get a good start out here with the one lane. Did all I could to keep Tony behind me, the champion. Billy's fast. But the track, it's one lane, so you just got to kind of keep in that lane, not make any mistakes, and try to hold these guys behind you.
Who would you like to thank?
I got to thank my wife Shannon, my uncle Mark, Glenn Matthews, Michael Meister Logging, Enterprise Wood Products, Mets Plumbing, Bees Tap House, Two Doors Down Brewing, AMS Oil, Fastenal, and anybody else I forgot. Thank you guys.
A job well done. This is Jake Nelson in second. And your winner, birthday boy, Tony Keepers. You know, you're a former champion, first time out here, you find yourself on top of the box. Was there at all a sigh of relief as you got into that first place position, or was it just upping the intensity at that point?
No, it might sound arrogant, but it feels comfortable there. It's, we've had some good years here. Mark Steinhardt puts this engine together. He built this car, and that thing's incredible. And I mean, I've said it time and time again, if that car gets up front, not many people are going to touch it, and we lucky to have a good start. We had to start in the back row, not racing all year, and we got an awesome start. Followed Jake for a while and got him to go in the muck a little bit so I could get by him, and you just check out at that point. I just got to shout out to my wife and Rick and Ben and Jackson, you guys, and Squints. He's back there helping his uncle right now. But you guys, man, we decided a week ago Sunday that we were going to do this, and the car was down to nothing. 4 nights of busting our butts, and we got this thing together. Lacey let me come out and do this. Man, thank you guys so much. I couldn't be here without you, and Mark too, with this awesome engine. My sponsors, shout out to all you guys. We'll be back next year strong. This all started, Rick said, Tony, we got that brand new engine. We need to go make a statement for next year, and I feel like we said something.
You made a statement with an exclamation point. Congratulations, Tony Keepers.
There, giving everyone one last check. Basically, he runs down the line, he points at you, he wants you to look him in the eye and give him a thumbs up, let you know that you're all set to go, and after that, it's in Faye Stetsny's hands, and he'll slide that famed board over and throw that green flag.
Absolutely. Every time I see that, makes us miss Cowboy that much more. May he rest in peace. What a heck of a man he was throughout our years of racing, Shane, and we've known him for a long, long time. And here we are about to go green. That is Stan Wood right in about the center of your screen. See if he can get to turn 1 first. Stock truck, watch as Forest County Potawatomi turn 1.
Already a couple drivers banging doors. That was Ewert in the 520 and Ringelstetter in the 599.
Looks like Peterson maybe on the outside, going to try to pull a hole shot. But no. Looks like the 585, Don Devaney's truck will come out first. Stan Wood will come in second in that Vape Escape Chevrolet. Trying to work his way up to the front already, making a little love tap. Trying to move him out of the race line. Travis Peterson will be in third. Diesel Shannock will be in fourth, and Ringelstetter will be in fifth. So here comes Wood already. Wood trying to make the track too wide.
How about that power move there by Stan Wood? Stealing that lead away. Physical driving, but clean driving there by Wood.
Yeah, you're going to Rubbins racing in some aspects of the sport. You really have to make yourself clean as possible going through this field. Stan Wood, you can tell he's definitely one of the quick ones here in stock truck.
Yeah, Wood's been showing a lot of speed all year. Unfortunately for him, I think his aggressiveness gets the best of him sometimes. I think we've seen the bottom of his truck in 3 of the 4 weekends this year, so he's having some problems keeping it dirty side down, but all systems go right now for Stan Wood. That Vape Escape Chevrolet running out front.
Yeah, there's Stan Wood going up on the cushion that we're starting to see develop, going through that little section in Argonne turn, heading back where the starting line is here by Cowboy Corner. Stan Wood still well out in front, about 5-6 car lengths ahead of those two men right there. Look at, here comes Shannock. Diesel Shannock trying to work his way into the second place spot. Stan Wood still out front, so going really, really wide, giving Shannock the lead into the second place spot. Here comes Wood again in Forest County Potawatomi turn number 1. Well out in front, the loud pedals down. We're starting to see the speeds pick up as the track is definitely starting to dry out here in Crandon. Wood still coming through the barn turn one more time. Truck looking very, very clean out front.
585 running in second. It does say Don Debney on our sheet, and I'm waiting for a response on who's driving the truck. Don's out there wearing the headset. He's right outside our window up here in the booth, but you know, he's got bigger obligations right now spotting for his truck. But back out front, Wood having a great run so far.
Yeah, Stan Wood, he's doing a fine job here in round number 9. Like we said, he had some misfortunate luck throughout this season. Look at this.
Yeah, that's Ringelstetter having some problems.
Look like I got a glimpse of the colors on that truck. It might be the 520 of TJ.
Yeah, sure was, Brent. Good call on that one. Ewert having some problems as well. Looks like they may have tangled and gone around. Ewert might have some front end damage on that truck. Looked like the left front tire was, turned to full lock, and the right front tire just coasting along straight.
Yeah, definitely tie rod's definitely a big factor on Ewert's truck. His day looks to be about done. Not easy to negotiate one of these rides with the front end all bent up. Here comes Travis Peterson. Wickman coming through our camera as well. And you can see our top 5 just spread right out from one another. Look at Wood. Wood going really, really wide. He really has to be patient because it is so sloppy back there.
Yeah, you see problems for that 585 truck as well as Shannick trying to close this gap on Stan Wood. That'll be your battle for the race lead as they come into Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. Stan Wood's been looking good out front so far, but Shannick trying to chase him down. Two guys who we've seen it running up front a lot this year. Shannick's had a little bit of bad luck himself, but he's a former class champion.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's a former class champion, very, very quick, week in and week out. We'll see if he can try to get the job done. Like we said, he's in second. Says Debney on your screen, but we're still trying to figure out who's in his truck in that 585. Putting together a good, solid run. There's the Vape Escape Chevrolet. One more time coming out of that gravel pit.
Everyone getting a little bit stretched out now, kind of settling in.
Good shot of our drone coverage going on board with the 593 of Diesel. Diesel trying to pick apart the fast line here in Crandon early on. It's really, really tough coming through Argonne Loop here. The switchback looks to be drying out very, very nicely if you stay to that inside line.
Yeah, we've talked a couple times today about how the drivers with a little bit more seat time, especially in these unpleasant conditions, we should see them running up front. Shannick is a good example of that. He's got just about the most seat time of anybody in this class here at Crandon International Raceway. So he's certainly dealt with these conditions before as well, and you see it's paying off here for him.
Yeah, it's definitely paying off. Watch him as he's going to go in that left-hander, just trying to tiptoe his way through. See, you're pushing that front end like a snowplow. You really got to try to carry that rear of the truck. It's hard to really do, but you have to go in there and maybe even drop down a gear, get the back end to come out from underneath you to point that front end in the right direction.
Yeah, but like we saw one lap ago with Wood pushing out a little bit too wide, getting crossed up, you have to kind of walk the line between, aggressively rotating the truck and sort of just tiptoeing through these corners.
Absolutely. There's a lot of finesse, and that's what you don't see. You might say, hey, I can do it. Go out there, put the loud pedal down, and just run around this big facility, but it's a whole different ballgame. You get behind one of these trucks.
Yeah, this is, restrictor plate racing, but these are V8 trucks, so there's plenty of power to rotate the truck, and you can really get yourself out of control too. But in control of this race, Stan Wood, that Vape Escape Chevrolet number 512.
Yeah, he's clicking off the laps here. We're still yet to see that halfway point of this race. Diesel Shannick, he might as well just keep it calm, just chill out, keep your truck cool, make sure everything is working just perfectly to have a shot in this second half.
Good battle a little bit further back. 3 trucks, the 585. That Don Debney truck, the Yokohama Tires machine, holding off Peterson and Wickman. Wickman's your defending class champ here in stock truck, so he's no stranger to the top of the podium as well.
Look at Peterson. Peterson trying to wiggle his way through. It shows on our board 5 laps yet to go in this one. So a lot of racing yet to be displayed. The Yokohama tires, number 585, still ahead of Peterson. There's Wickman going through our camera as well. So Wickman's going to try to move up farther forward here in the top 5. He would love to win one of these things, but you have to be there in the end. Look at this battle for the lead. Chanik really wants to prove us wrong. He's like, hey guys, I'm not waiting around for anything.
Yeah, you saw a good look at these 32-inch DOT tires just digging, struggling for traction on some parts of this course. They haven't done a whole lot of work this afternoon yet on Cowboy Corner, but you got to think that the track crew might take a look there next on our next break.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been working this track in between these races, and they've done a fine job. I mean, already, you look at our barn turn right there. Look at how nice that inside line is. If we can open it up just a little bit wider, we're going to see some great racing. There's our drone going right up on top.
Yeah, drone getting close enough there to see that the top of Stan Wood's truck does have some damage to the top, and that's, like we said, we've seen the bottom side of that truck in a few different races this year, so definitely worse for wear after a hard-fought 2020 season for Stan Wood. Really tells you how well built these trucks are, though, that you can send them up and over. You can be upside down a few times, and they take a licking and keep on ticking. As we now have 4 of our 8 laps in the books, and that means we are at our mid-race competition caution. Stan Wood jumped out front pretty early in this one and holds on over Shanik. And it's a long way back to that battle for third.
Stan Wood out front, Diesel Shanik second. And you look at third on back all the way to Ewart. Ewart having a rough day here in Crandon. He is out of this race. You look at Ringo Slater, 31 seconds behind our race leaders. So guys like him, they really love this mandatory competition caution, because if you had a bad first half, you can make it up here. All right, we're going to throw it down to our third member of our team, Haley Shanley.
Thanks, guys. Chiming in with some insight on Diesel Shanik, former class champ and veteran of this class. You saw he is currently running second and is keeping that leader honest. He also sits third in this points championship chase. He found some tough luck at ERX Motor Park back in mid-August. He had trouble with his steering. He was able to turn things around when he came here to Crandon for Labor Day weekend, where he found a second and a fourth. Both days, he was part of highlight battles. He's truly a driver that lets it all hang out on track, and he is going to put on a show. You can expect to see some more of that here just past the halfway point, because we're going to re-rack him, restack him, and again, he's sitting second, and he's not going to make it easy on our leader.
Thank you very much, Haley. And now it's crazy. It's going to be interesting to see how this one shakes out. Stan Wood, he's just showing so much speed, and if anyone can take him down, Diesel Shanik, he's past points champion. He knows how to get the job done, so it'll be interesting.
You touched on it a little bit earlier, Brent, that you thought maybe Shanik was just sort of hanging back. You knew he was comfortably in second with really no pressure coming from behind, that maybe he just decided, well, I'll wait this out. We'll take a run at it here in the second half, maybe save the truck a little bit as well, because we know Stan Wood was pushing hard for that whole first half.
Yeah, absolutely. He kept a little bit in his sleeve, I guarantee you that, as he's buttoning up to the back rear bumper of the Vape Escape Chevrolet of Stan Wood. We'll see if Justin and the guys on that team can keep that truck together for 4 more laps here in round number 9 at the big house. Pay attention. Here we go. We're going to go back. Green flag racing. Our pace truck will pull off one final time. We'll see if Stan Wood can get the job done. Watch him between these 2 orange cones. He can take off at any time, and there he goes.
Really nothing gained by any of our top 4 on that restart. I'm going to try to keep my eye on Colin Wickman sitting in 4th there, because we have seen him run up front on the podium a few times this year, and you know he wants to push a little bit farther forward. He's also your current points leader, so meaningful that he's running ahead of second place in points, the 537 of Sinkowski, who's a little bit further back.
Well, look at this. Yeah, you're right, but look at this battle for the lead. Here comes Diesel Shanik. So exactly what we were talking about. He saved a little bit in the tank for Stan Wood. We'll see if he can cross back over. There he goes.
Trying the outside in, a little bit of contact there. Nice job by Wood to gather it back up and stay in control. Wood's actually going to stretch his lead a little bit now over Shannick as they head toward that chicane that leads into Argonne Corner. While those guys are doing battle with one another, that's going to let Peterson close the gap just a little bit as well. He's running in third in that Kelps Chop Chop truck, number 555. And Wood pushes wide. We've got a pass for the lead. Shannick takes over the race lead. Wood having some problems in the slick stuff down there in Argonne Corner, and Wood might be off the pace as Peterson's going to get around him as well. And there's the trouble. Stan Wood has a flat right rear tire, so tough break for Stan Wood. So now it'll be Shannick, Peterson, and Wood holds on to third for now. Oh, big trouble there for Stan Wood.
Oh, tough break for Stan Wood. The Vapescape Chevrolet definitely has a right rear tire peeling right off the hub. Oh, man, that's tough break for him.
That'll leave the lead open for Shannick as he comes down through turn one and past the crowd here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. Now it's Shannick, Peterson, Wickman, your top three. And again, just more bad luck from Wood. You certainly got to think he's going to be a contender next year for a championship, but he's got to rub his lucky rabbit's foot or change his luck somehow.
Here comes Shannick into the gravel pit one more time. One of my favorite turns as this track dries out. These trucks just love to back it in and rotate through that turn. There's the 593. Still out in front, doing what he needs to do. Man, tough break for Stan Wood, but just staying alive is Diesel Shannick going through the tough parts here in Crandon with the white flag out. One more time around here in Stock Truck.
Yeah, there's an old worn-out saying, to finish first, you must first finish. And like we said, unfortunate for Stan Wood that he dropped off and so close to taking that white flag. Yeah, another good, strong run here for Peterson. We haven't seen him win a race yet, but it seems like we've talked about Peterson in the podium conversation at all 9 of our rounds so far here in 2020. Putting together a very strong, consistent season.
Yeah, absolutely. He is looking very, very good. Coming back towards the starting line here in Crandon. Trying to rotate that truck, pushing a little bit, turning that wheel as hard as he can to the left. Remember, we are on the white flag lap. He's heading towards Forest County. Pato ought to be turn number one more time. See if he can hold on to this win. There's Travis Peterson in second and Colin Wickman in third.
Yeah, Wickman came into this race leading points. He's your defending points champion as well. And if my math is right, he has to finish 5th or better in each round this weekend. So he's definitely in control of his own destiny. But so far today has had nothing for Diesel Shannick, who is in control of this one.
Yeah, Shannick's definitely in control. Very, very quick.
One last time into the Polaris gravel pit turn. Smooth sailing, staying on that dry race line. The Big Iron Chevrolet number 593. Like Haley said, he's a veteran in this class. He won some championships, won some rings. He knows what it takes to run up front. All that seat time, all that experience and hard work paying off. As the checkered flag comes out and Diesel Shannick will take the win here in the Launderville Steel Stock Truck round number 9 race at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. Peterson across the line second. And we should see Wickman third, and there he is. So Wickman with a strong podium finish. Trying to continue putting together this points championship run.
Yeah, tough class to win the points in, but taking the win this afternoon, man. 593 in Stock Truck. Diesel Shannick, Travis Peterson will be in second. They're going to head towards the podium once again, and he's not no newcomer to the top spot. He loves the win here in Crandon.
Yeah, has a small but very loyal crew that's been coming to these races for, I think he's been in it for about a decade now. Very passionate.
Sure thing. And Colin Wickman rounding out our podium here. You know, we talked about at the halfway point that you were one to watch. We needed to keep our eyes on you. Where were you finding the speed in this one?
It was just stay in the line, and that was about it. I mean, there wasn't much more you could do, and you could try to make a run, but was it worth it? Because you push up, and you're probably going to lose 3 more. So it was just kind of survival of the fittest and who could be patient. So I got to thank my mom and my dad. They are the biggest part of this team and the whole crew for all the work they do. Launderville Steel for doing this, Badger Race Straps, Brian Mullen Motorsports, Andy Shock Service. He's hooked us up with a good truck all year long, so huge shout out to him. ATD Transmission and Fisher Race Engines. Thank you.
Patience pays off for Colin Wickman in third. Travis Peterson in second. Travis, you've been so consistent all season long. You've always been part of the podium conversation. And even in this one, had to be so consistent, and you were. And I'm sure that was no easy feat with the track. What was the key to the consistency again today?
Well, I'll tell you, my spotter kept me in my line. And you weren't getting out of it. You had to stay where you were. It was just so greasy. And, I mean, there's just no opportunity to pass when there's stuff like this. You basically got to wait for the moment and capitalize on somebody else's mistake. I was able to hold off Colin today, but I couldn't catch up with Diesel. Still waiting to get her on the top of the box, but it's going to happen hopefully tomorrow. We got to thank all my sponsors, Kelv's Chop Shop, Custom Metal Specialist, Aero Auto, Charity Bear Real Estate, Quality Exterior Siding, Construction, Peter James Photography, Cider Construction, Ralph's Auto Salvage, Victory Sign, Yokohama for those tires. Them tires are really working. That's I think that's where we're going to stay with the tires for sure. Thanks Haley for the hat. I gotta thank my wife. She's back at home. She couldn't make it here. My grandparents, my kids, everybody. Thank you.
Congratulations, Travis Peterson in second. And your winner, Diesel Shannick. Celebration is in order after a run you put on like that. And who needs brakes, quite honestly?
Yeah, we get coming in corners, sometimes likes to slow down a little faster, but I ran here in the earlier race and lost brakes too, so I kind of figured out how to run around here without no brakes. But got to thank my crew. They bust their butts to get me a good hot rod out there, and I got to thank Weiser Graphics, Snap Opalpaca, Bill's Auto, Ryan's Custom Concrete, Big Iron, Cold Iron, Travis's Lakeview Tavern, everybody that helps us out. I couldn't do it without you guys, so thanks.
Congratulations, Diesel Shannick, finishing this one off with no brakes today. Congratulations. And this is your top 3 for Launderville Steel Stock Truck.
Bay Stetson, the best in the business at starting an off-road race. No one does it like him, and he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, you can't outsmart Bay. You slide that yellow board, you can't ever see when he's going to throw that green flag. And there he goes. Green flag underway. Get on your feet. We're coming into Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. Who's going to get there first?
Looks like Jorgensen had a great run from the inside, but here comes one of those Schultz cars. That's the 129 of Connor Schultz. He's been having a strong season this year, and he will take the early race lead. Looks like he maybe brought Springstro with him in second, Stingle third. Jorgensen with a great start, and Fisher, who we talked about before this race, mixing it up in the top 5 as well. That is just a lot of cars, Brent.
Yeah, definitely. They're all coming through turn 1 fairly clean. It looks like we might have one still sitting in turn 1. We'll have to see if we can get him off the track.
Yeah, it looks like Vincent Yeager down there maybe got tangled up and might have some front-end damage. Hard to tell from here, but back out front you see Stingle. He's trying to win that extra money for the number plate on the top side of the car.
Yeah, you're right. There's a 124. Wonder what happened to Yeager. You wonder if he got crossed up, maybe got some contact. Now we're on board with Stingle in that blazing orange car. Normally we see him up front like that, so no surprise at all. As look at the rest of the field, they're all in lockstep.
And nose to tail as they come around Calamity Corner past the finish line. Everybody playing pretty nice. We're going to take a look back at a replay of this start. Well, you see Delory got crossed up a little bit earlier.
Oh wow. Man. Yeah, definitely. We missed that
How
one.
About that? We were too busy looking out front, but Yeager tangled, looks like with Holcher in that 144 and went up and over.
Well, we talk about those open wheel cars. You don't have any fenders, and you've seen that roof plate come open, so definitely didn't do its job, but he looks to be safe. They got him off track, and we're back underway here again.
Yeah, scary situation there with that roof opening up. Something you never want to see. And back out front, Schultz, Springstrow, who was your 2019 world champion, running in second. He knows what it takes to run up front here at Crandon, just like Greg Stingle. And Fisher in that 103 car, just like Matt Gerald was telling me this morning, that work is starting to pay off that Fisher and the boys are doing back there in the pit.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to pay off. They're doing what they need to do. They're very, very quick here. Look at the track already. Coming through Forest County, Potawatomi turn number 1, starting to dry out nicely. This track starting to get into prime shape here this afternoon.
Yeah, a ton of traction really, and we're not seeing the mud just coating all these cars like we did earlier for especially Formula 4x4 and Classics, so definitely a good sign. As Connor Schultz, that 129, the Flying Dutchman off-road car, leads our field down into the gravel pit. Already stretched out about a 15 car length lead over Springstrow. Behind Springstrow, it's Stingle, Fisher, and Colin Schultz rounds out the top 5.
See Stingle now just a little farther back there, running in that blazing orange ride, trying to keep up to our top 2. They spread out just a little bit more, going by what will be our finish line, coming towards Argonne Loop.
Yeah, lots of position battles going on. I mean, with 30 cars, there's only so much room for all of them, so you're going to have to do a little dicing amongst one another. One person we haven't talked about yet is current points leader Tyson Marquardt, who's kind of stuck in the middle of that top 10 group. Marquardt and Booth are your top 2 in points. They've got a heck of a points battle going on right now. Only 6 points between those two, and then it's about 70 points back to the next driver, so
they're in a league of their own.
Basically, whichever of those 2 drivers can beat the other one on both days this weekend will be your points champion, so keep an eye on that, as well as you see the 177 of Schultz. Colin Schultz from Neenah got up and around Corey Fisher in that 103 car. As they come back down into Forest County, Potawatomi turn number 1 once again. Stingle running in third, and it's a long way ahead of him to find the 117 of Sean Springstrow. Stingle, another of these sportsman drivers that's been doing this for a long, long time. I mean, we've seen Greg Stingle win races like 20 years ago, and he's still out here and still competitive.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about this sport, and he's a guy that'll help you out too. You go around, you go find him at his pits. If you need any kind of part or piece for these cars, he's so smart, and that's why you see him finish up in the top 3, 4. I mean, on top of the box 90% of the time, if you ask me. Ever since I was a little kid, I remember that blazing orange car just move its way to the front. And he put in the time, he puts in the effort, and it's showing as we go back up front.
Yeah, Connor Schultz, you saw him sawing at the wheel a little bit there, so even the fastest guys, the guys running up front, still having to deal a little bit with these wet conditions, trying to find some dry track. No major mistakes, though, so far out of Schultz. He's basically running all by himself with Springstrow a distant second, and it's a long way back to Stingle in third behind him. Looks like a good close battle between Marquardt and Fisher. That would be your battle for, I believe, 5th place on the race course. So Marquardt trying to find his way to the front as well. You see back in Cowboy Corner, still a lot of mud to contend with back there.
Yeah, definitely a lot of mud. They're still trying to brush it off, and we talked about the car count, how that'll help. It'll help work in this track, and then you look at that straightaway, those rollers, they're really starting to dry out nicely. So this track is going to get into prime shape. We hope we don't see any more rain.
Yeah, sky's beginning to darken over us a little bit here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. But at least for the moment, it's dry, and the track is becoming more dry as we go along. Up front, it's still Colin Schultz, that 129 Flying Dutchman off-road car. He's had a couple really great runs this year in the 2020 championship off-road season. Looks like just about 2 full race lines of space down there in the gravel pit now, so opening up some more passing possibilities as we move throughout our race day. Schultz will click off another lap. That's 3 laps in the books. We should have our competition caution next time by.
Yeah, he's doing a good job out front. That 129's been fast all season long, and you talk to these boys, they're really so calm. They really don't say much. They just put their game face on. They get in the car, and they're just mean behind the wheel in a good way. They really know how to hit their lines, hit their marks. They're just fast time and time again, and it's going to be tough to beat that 129 car. You see now Stingle coming into our street, and here comes Schultz in the 177 as well. There's Marquardt, Fisher, your top 6. So this is going to bunch everyone back in.
Yeah, you talked about that car out front, Schultz. I mean, he's racing under the Flying Dutchman off-road banner, so definitely a lot of expertise there to call on. If you got driving coaches like Mike Vandenheuvel and Chad Rayford, man, you could do a whole heck of a lot worse. As you see Stingle with a little mistake there, that's going to let Colin Schultz in that 177 get up and around. That would be a pass for, I believe, 3rd place. And now Marquardt trying to put a move on Stingle as they come down into turn 1. That's the battle for 4th place on the race course. Stingle trying to hold off your current points leader, Tyson Marquardt. And Marquardt, along with Billy Booth, who's 2nd in points, both just having absolutely monster years.
Absolutely, they're doing a good job. There's a 129 again. Schultz going to come to that halfway point in the next turn, going over the Polaris flyaway jump.
Yeah, really hardly any dirt on the front of Connor's car at all there as he navigates Calamity Corner, as we like to call it, and takes those red and yellow flags. So we've reached our halfway point.
This light buggy division, 30 cars started this race. Had a couple cars have some issues throughout, but right now we are wrapping things up here in the first half. Some good battles going on right to the flag. But it's Schultz, Springstrow, and Schultz in your top 3, and Stingle now in 4th. So we see it about 12 seconds back from our leaders. That goes away now, so we'll see who is fast right now. We'll see who can really step up to the plate and maybe pick one away from our leader here.
Yeah, you see a car pulled off to the side there. That's Kayenberg. I believe he's a rookie in the class as well, driving the old Eric Hill car, the 164. So tough break to see him pulled off to the side. Fortunately, he's safely off the race line, but we have the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Haley Shanley, standing trackside. Haley, what do you have for us?
It's really been such a pleasure to watch this track really widen out and work in throughout the afternoon so far. But let's talk about Greg Stingle. As far as those up there in the points championship race right now, we're looking at a lot of young guns. But Greg, he is a veteran. Really watch the way he negotiates through traffic. That's exactly what he had to do in round 8 just a few weeks ago over Labor Day weekend. It was really exciting to watch. He found himself a podium position. He's currently sitting 4th in points right now. He has a win to his credit as well as a 3rd place finish. So watch. Last time I checked in the timing and scoring right now, he is sitting just in 4th. This is Greg Stingle.
Yeah, thanks, Haley. You know, for years it was Stingle along with Todd Lemke and kind of the KG veterans of the class, but the last few years we've had this huge youth movement, which is great. A ton of new young drivers coming into our buggy divisions, and they've kind of taken over from the old guard, so to speak.
Yeah, they've done what they need to do. They're really, really quick, and it's anybody's game here in this second half, Shane. I really think that you're going to see Stingle really pour on the heat, especially Springstrow. That 117, we talked about it time and time again. He's very, very quick, and that 3.5 seconds has gone away as we're going to park these cars on the backstretch or maybe keep them going. There's just so many of them.
Yeah, Springstrow came off that big win at the end of last year, won that World Championship race in 2019 in the final round. And I kind of expected Springstra to factor in the championship discussion here in 2020 as well, but he's had just some lousy luck and a really up and down year, so very motivated, trying to build some momentum looking ahead to 2021 and trying to play spoiler a little bit to some of our top guys in points.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing, and trying to play the spoiler. They have nothing to lose. They want to be out there. They want to get that big win, and we should get things back underway here as we go through Forest County Potawatomi turn number 1. We'll see if Schultz can hold on to this lead. 4 laps to go this time by.
Back to green flag racing on our Delaware style restart. That restart's going to put the 177 of Colin Schultz on the outside of Springstra. It looks like he's going to take that spot away on the restart. So now it's the Schultz boys running first and second. Springstra trying to fight back. And Brent, earlier this year, we saw a little bit of drama between Springstra and the Schultz boys. So that's something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, I remember on the podium, they weren't too happy, and that's what they need to do. They're doing whatever in their mind to get up front. And sometimes you make contact. Sometimes things don't happen the way you plan. And if you ask me in off-road racing, you can't plan ahead. You just got to take what's given to you, and hopefully your mind is set on figuring things out and moving up to the front as Schultz in that 129. Definitely doing good work here in Crandon. The track's pretty perfect.
Yeah, after that dramatic round 1 race, which is where it went down between Springstra and the Schultz boys, this is actually like the battle up front I wanted to see all season. I've been waiting for it to see. They're going to settle it like gentlemen and settle it on the track in a clean way, but these guys want nothing more than to beat one another.
No, absolutely. They want to win, and that's why we come to Crandon, the big house. Everyone wants to put down a big W, bring home that hardware. And man, Schultz, he's just flat out flying here in round number 9. It's going to be interesting to see if anyone can reel him in. Here is our battle for third.
Yeah, Stingle looked to the inside of Springstra there, but nothing doing. And now I want to say that's Billy Booth. It is pulled up to the back bumper of Stingle, so Booth has gotten around Marquardt and up into the top 5, and that has some points implications if he can finish ahead of Marquardt.
Look at how close to that retaining wall they're coming.
Yeah, way down to the inside. That's the preferred line for these momentum classes, so to speak. Taking a look out there, Marquardt has fallen back a couple spots, and that's really bad news for his points chase.
There's Springs showing that 117 on the lower left of our camera, heading towards the gravel pit. Once again, in single file, trying to just pick apart, waiting for that one little mistake to try to pounce on it, going right through a little rough section. Here comes Springstra.
Yeah, there was that little mistake you were talking about. Schultz pushed out a little bit wide. They're going to go wheel to wheel up and over the Polaris jump.
Yeah, watch, he's going to try to get on the binders and try to sneak back underneath, hoping for that little mistake. We got to remember, Schultz, they've been around for a while. They know how to get back into that race groove as a white flag is coming out this time by. So one more lap here in light buggy, and man, this one ain't over yet.
Yeah, well, that drama I mentioned from round number 1 back at Elk River at ERX Motor Park, that happened on the white flag too. So, definitely when these guys come back down the front straight, keep your eye on Colin Schultz and that 177 and Springstra on that 117.
Yeah, Colin, he really needs to just keep looking forward. Don't worry what's behind you. Run that fast line. As Springstra, he looks to be a little bit quicker. Coming back by Cowboy turn. Gonna try to rotate a little bit earlier. Can't get the job done there. We'll see on this straightaway.
Yeah, again, Schultz, the back end, stepping out just a little bit. That's scrubbing off a little bit of speed. They're going to be almost bumper to bumper. Springstro's going to look to the inside. He's got to run, but Schultz moves over and slams the door.
Yeah, he definitely shut the door and said, hey, this not right now. I'm going to hold on to this spot. We'll see as they come towards the barn turn. There's our leader, Schultz.
Yeah, Connor Schultz in that 129, as he got crossed up, able to make the save. He's pretty comfortably out front as Springstra falling back just a little bit now from Colin Schultz in the 177.
Yeah, Colin looks to be running that fast line again. He's looking forward, which he needs to do. Time is running out on this white flag lap, but he's definitely pulled away from Springstra.
Yeah, we'll find out how hard Springstra wants to push into this gravel pit. Looks Looks like he's content to just stay in line for now and try to get one final run as they head for Calamity Corner.
Yeah, one more turn to go. Can Schultz get the job done? Connor Schultz going to come around this right-hander right through one big divot, a big hole there. And he's going to do it, taking the checkered flag here in 1600 light buggy.
And his brother, Colin Schultz, the 177, did hold on for second place with Springstrow third. Stingle across the line in fourth. Billy Booth is fifth with about that Marquardt right behind him.
Yeah, that's going to shake things up.
I'm going to crunch some numbers real quick in my head here. So Booth would have just gained 2 points on Marquardt. So unofficially, I have Booth trailing by 4 points in the championship chase.
This one isn't over yet. We still have round number 10 here in the light buggy division. There's the Schultz boys that are up in the top two.
Sean Springstrow, our third place finisher. Sean, you were giving it everything you had out there. What types of things were you forced to be trying, especially as the laps wind down?
It's kind of hard out there with how wet the track is. You only got like one line or so to run, so I mean, you kind of got to stick behind him. And I just didn't have it for him today. And his brother got me on a nice pass, and just how it went. I'd like to thank Clink Equipment, Victory Sign, PDI, Flanagan Stop and Shop, Seward Speed Shops, my mom and dad, my girlfriend, and yeah, everybody watching at home, and thanks to everyone coming out.
A job well done. Sean Springstrow takes home bronze. And Colin Schultz in second. Tell me what it was like holding off Sean in that last half there.
Oh man, he hit me a few times, but nothing big, just pushing me through the track. My tires were spinning a little bit. I ran a dry tire in the rear, and he just had a little bit more than me, but I got lucky on that restart and got past him.
Who would you like to thank?
Oh, number one is my family. They all come and support us. They all help us out on the team. They help us do all the work. We left our cars here because we started school at UW Stout, and they helped us prep the cars after Sunday, after the races. And just big thanks to them.
Congratulations on the commendable finish. This is Colin Schultz.
Thank you.
And another Mike Vandenheuvel chassis up on the podium here. Congratulations on the win, Connor Schultz. Another win for the 129. What was the secret here today?
The secret today was a good start. With the muddy track, I prefer rough tracks like this, and getting a good start really helped. Clear vision, and I was gone. Went good for me.
Who's putting you on top of the box?
I'd like to thank my brother. This is the second time this year we went 1-2. Feels really good. Hopefully we can do that again more, and then hopefully get Taylor up here too someday. And shout out to Flying Dutchman Off-Road, my brother Chad Rayford, All-Star Performance for sponsoring our class this year. They have some great products too. And my whole family for coming out. Thanks.
Congratulations, Connor Schultz. This is your All-Star Performance 1600 light buggy, guys.
Welcome back to Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. And we have super stock trucks on the line, and we're going to go green. We're not wasting any time, Shane. Watch as we come into Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. Who's it going to be? Look at Wilson on the inside.
Yeah, Wilson pulled a hole shot here a couple of weeks ago, and as they come into Forest County, Potawatomi, turn 1, it's Kenny Wilson in that 803 out front again. Those boys down in the valley, they've really figured something out on that truck.
Yeah, they definitely have their gear ratios set perfect. Here coming into turn 1, out first, there's Nick Bing. And remember, we're going through the points race here as well. As you look, Braden Beauchamp, there's a young rookie here this weekend. Trying to get his feet wet, having some gremlin issues. He's running the top 6.
Oh, Big went a little bit wide, looking to the outside of Kenny Wilson. They made some contact. Wilson unfortunately got pushed out into the soft stuff, lost some ground, so that's going to hand the race lead over to Nick Bing as they come into Calamity Corner.
Yeah, Nick Bing's now going to be up front. Wilson will be in second. Wilson going right through that mud puddle, as well as a host of others. Here's Joey Machosik. Had a long time talk with him last night. They're ready for it. He wants to win that championship. He's out to beat Holger in this one. He said if Nick Bing gets out front early, he really doesn't worry about it too much. He just wants to be consistent.
Yeah, and I'm looking for Ben Holger, who's your current points leader. He's running well back in the field, about 10th place. There's all kinds of mayhem down there in the Argonne corner. Few trucks got stacked up. Looks like everybody's gotten away cleanly now. But back out front, it's Big Wilson. And that Trey Beauchamp is up into the top 3.
Yeah, Trey Beauchamp now going to be running in that third place position. And look at the rain start to come down, Shane. This is going to mix things up as you see it really starting to come down very, very hard as Big. You have to really tiptoe. This is different. You set up your truck to these pit crews, these members of your team said, hey, the track's dried out. Let's maybe put an all-terrain tire. Now you got to throw things out the window. You might want a mud terrain.
Yeah, you just hope some of these drivers and crew chiefs, they're looking at their right weather app that had the correct prediction and able to inform the decision-making. You know, we've seen races like this where it starts raining right after the start of the race. It can really cause some mayhem.
Yeah,
that water has no time to absorb. It sits right on top and it becomes slick immediately.
Yeah, and it'll become like an ice rink, especially on this clay. As you look, I was paying attention to Nick Bing's tires. You see the air that they're running. They have beadlocks on these trucks, so you can run it down to as many as 15, 20 pounds, but you don't want to get down like a sprint car to maybe 3-4 pounds because it'll push it right off the beadlock. So you see, they're lowering their air pressure, trying to get as much bite as possible. As we see Trey Beauchamp and Holger now moving in the top 3. Holger in the 4th spot.
Yeah, Kenny Wilson putting together another strong run here at Crandon. Led a couple laps here a few weeks ago. A guy who's been around this a long time, really putting in some hard work over the past couple of years trying to develop that truck.
Wilson now well out in front of these two guys. Oh, maybe Trey Beauchamp made a little bit of a mistake. There's Holger.
Yeah, Holger now up into the top 4. Everybody that's close to him in the points chase is behind him so far, so this looks good for Holger and his hopes for the points championship. Now Visser, look at the amount of rain coming down out there, Brent.
Definitely pouring out here in Crandon, Wisconsin, but man, this is off-road racing. These guys are prepared and ready for this. They have their mud munchers or their tear-offs that they're playing with underneath their helmets, trying to figure out where you can see here in this tough land. We just got done saying how Mother Nature hasn't been on our side. Well, man, it struck again.
Visser going way wide up in turn 2 and got out into the loose, loamy mud on the outside. So Holger comfortably now in 4th place.
Here comes Darrell Wold now. Wold trying to work his way up to Trey Beauchamp, that 8-11. A great group of guys. They come in week and week out. They want to win. As you see Ben Holger now going through the Polaris flyaway jump, and here comes Nick Visser.
Yeah, and I misspoke earlier. Ben Holger is up into 3rd place, not 4th place. So that's your battle for 3rd between Holger and Visser.
And that's huge in the points for Ben Holger. He wants to be ahead of him. That man right there, the great truck, the 851 of Joey Machosik. Good run by Braden Beauchamp. He fell back a little bit, but it's definitely hard to throw out a rookie these wet conditions. Trying to figure out your truck is one thing, then you throw everything at it, trying to figure it out, then you throw rain. You have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, basically learning how to drive again on the fly in a certain sense.
Yeah, it looks like Argonne turn is really diced up through there. Really, really hard to negotiate as we go back up to our leaders. Here's Ben Holger hard on the binders. A lot of front brake. You've seen that. Both front wheels locked up. If I was Ben Holger right now, I'd probably try to work with that brake bias. You want to throw some more rear brake to that truck to get that back end to rotate. Here comes Visser.
Yeah, Visser got a great run on the outside as they came out of Cowboy Corner and was able to slam the door. So Visser now up into the top 3.
Wow, Visser, the rain is not creating any kind of problems for him. He's trying to run up to the front.
Yeah, Visser rattled off 4 straight wins in Super Stock Truck earlier this year, so he knows exactly what it takes to run out front with the fastest of the fast.
Boy, speaking of fastest of the fast, Nick Bing is just gone. He is nowhere to be found in that 833 blazing orange and white Lucas Oil HBI-backed ride.
And this battle for 3rd looks like it's a long way from done here, though, Brent. Holger still working on Visser. A Although Visser just got a tremendous drive off the gravel pit corner.
The mud just playing a big factor here this afternoon. Really have to just play defense with every part on your truck.
3 laps are complete out of a scheduled 8 laps, so that means we have 1 more lap to go before our mid-race competition caution. We're still riding along with Nick Visser as he goes through the Argonne corner. Yeah, really in that Argonne corner, Brent, not even 1 complete race line is worn in yet. Looks like a pretty good line worn in on entry, but as you go through that corner, it's very chopped up.
Yeah, look at Visser. Visser just holding that loud pedal down. This rain not really affecting that truck. As I just said, he goes in a little bit of the mud. Man, sorry, Nick, I jinxed you a little bit. You really have to be patient going through this layout. Here comes Nick Bing once again.
Yeah, smooth sailing for Bing out front right now. Just about a full straightaway lead over Kenny Wilson in the 803. Bing trying to notch another win in an already very good career super stock truck.
HBI 833 doing his job, and he's doing it well here.
Yeah, definitely not taking it easy. You saw him just about fully sideways on the loud pedal there in the gravel pit.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, you have your spotter letting you know you're a gap, but if you're out front, you just want to keep putting it together as he comes to that mandatory competition caution once again. And man, Nick Bing, if he's on, he's on.
Second place at the halfway point is Kenny Wilson from Crandon. Visser will be third at halfway, Holcher fourth.
Yeah, then you look back with Josic, he's in the points running there in the 5th spot. Then it's Darrell Wohl in 6th. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out here in round numbers 9 and 10. As we'll wait for Nick Bing to bring the whole group of guys around here in super stock truck. Never disappoints. It's one of the favorite tracks, or the favorite classes on any one of these tracks here in 2020. They're just so equal. They have restrictor plates. They're running about 10 inches of travel in the front, 12 inches in the rear. I mean, they're running as big as 3-inch shocks. They're not bypass, but man, I never would have thought about 10, 15 years ago we'd be seeing these trucks look more like a pro stock.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you want to compare this to an older class, it's almost like what Pro 2 used to be 25 years ago, and that's how far we've come here in off-road racing. But we've got Haley Shanley standing down trackside. Haley, what do you have for us? Are you staying dry down there?
I am for now, but time will tell there. You know, round 8 was so fruitful for so many drivers, but 3 honorable mentions for this class. We had not only Ben Holcher claimed his first career finish with that world championship, but Nick Bing, who had been struggling for 3 rounds, was able to break that bad luck streak there with a 2nd place finish. And Nick Visser, last time in round 8, he had gone to the infield early on with trouble, but he was able to rally back to finish out 3rd. Nick Visser, who grew up here at Crandon and cut his teeth here at Crandon International Off-Road, he says that is certainly going to come into play here this weekend and work in his benefit, perhaps.
Thank you very much, Haley. And look at that rain still coming down, so the track just keeps on changing throughout today's racing action. Hopefully there's enough tear-offs on these shields of these trucks. I mean, these drivers really have their work cut out for them as we should be coming back to that green flag. There's Nick Bing, Wilson, Visser, Holger, Machosik, your top 5. Here we go.
Back to green flag racing. Bing will lead the field up through turn number 2. Visser showed a wheel to the inside there of Kenny Wilson. That's the battle for 2nd place. Visser currently 3rd in points, but only 6 points behind points leader Ben Holcher. So a long way to go in the points championship chase here in Super Stock Truck. Wilson doing a heck of a job right now holding off Visser.
Boy, Nick Bing already opening up that gap after that restart. Man, kudos to Wilson. He's doing a fine job sitting in front of some big company here in Super Stock Truck. Wilson trying to apex that turn, going right through that mud puddle.
Yeah, Wilson trying to play spoiler a little bit too on the points chase that surrounds him both in front and behind. Big had a little bit of bad luck a few weeks back at ERX for rounds 5 and 6. Ended up upside down twice. But they've got that truck all sorted out as he is leading this race. Back behind him, though, it's still Wilson able to hold off Visser, but Wilson having some problems. Smoke out the back of Wilson's truck.
Yeah, maybe some overheating issues for Wilson. He looks to be off the pace just a little bit, allowing Visser and Holger to get by. And there's Joey Machosic now coming into our camera.
Yeah, and Holger, Machosic, and Visser are top 3 in points. Like I said before, they're only separated by 6 points across the 3 of them there. So go figure, the top 3 have found each other on the track as well, trying to chase down Nick Big. Again, you can, if you're watching us at home on champoffroad.com, you can really get a sense of how hard this rain is coming down.
Yeah, it's definitely not letting up, and the track definitely going away for our top 3 runners here. But Nick Big, he's in the best spot right now. That Lucas Oil HBI ride just going over that roller. Normally you see those trucks launching off that little jump, but it's just so wet. They're just trying to keep that truck underneath them, just keep those tires moving forward. As Big now opening up that gap a little more in that 8:33. It looks to be very, very quick here this afternoon.
Yeah, Big's doing a really great job of smooth driving right now. Just minimize those mistakes. They're going to happen when the track is starting to go away like it is right now with these rainy conditions, as there's the white flag. Like I said, the track is going to go away. We know that. So you have to minimize the mistakes. You can't eliminate them. It's impossible when it's this wet.
Yeah, absolutely. You can try to be as perfect as possible. You're going to make a little bit of a hiccup here and there. But right now, look at Visser. Visser, he knows it's a white flag. He's trying to get as many points as possible in this points chase. And look at that. We're talking about trying to be perfect. When you just push through these turns, there's just no grip left.
Yeah, and I was watching Nick Bing out front. He did the exact same thing down there in the Argonne corner. So at least they're on equal footing as far as how much traction they're actually able to squeeze out of these tires. Uh-oh, Big pushed a little bit wide. That's going to scrub a lot of speed. If Visser can get rotated in time.
Yeah,
Visser pushed out wide too.
Yeah, Visser kind of followed right through the door. Man, it seems like it's just coming down harder that lap. Every time we go by that starting line turn, we're heading back into Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. It's still Nick Big here in the rain. Nick Visser in second. Third, it's still Ben Holger in that 844. And Wilson now is falling way back.
Yeah, Wilson, after that good early run, he's still running in 4th, but a little bit off the pace of our top 3 here. Now we'll find out if Visser is close enough to maybe force a mistake out of Nick Big. Doesn't look like he's quite close enough here in the gravel pit. Big going all the way up to the top of the track, trying to find that cushion. Nothing doing there for Visser.
Absolutely nothing can be done right now. If there's one little last mistake for Bing, it's just as I say it, he goes in the slot, but there's just no line. He's going to take the win here in round number 9. Second's going to go to Visser. Third will go to Ben Holger, and what a run by the 803 of Wilson. Wow, good job for him, and look at our points. One of our points runners there, that is the 851 of Joey Machosic, finishing in 5th, and definitely not what he wanted to do.
How about that? Braden Beauchamp finishing in 6th. That's his best finish so far. Braden just crossed the line. Hats off to Braden.
Yeah,
for a young driver to manage these conditions like that and finish ahead of some very serious heavy hitters is taking a look at some trouble for the 811 of Darrell Wold.
Yeah, Darrell Wold.
He was running up there in the top 4 for a while.
Boy, there was tough luck all season long for Braden Beauchamp, and it's nice to see him get a good solid finish. I can't imagine if the track dried out a little bit for that rookie.
Nice and dry under here, actually. It's not too bad here at the podium. Lots of smiling faces. First off, Ben Holger in 3rd place. A late season heater as of late for you. Things are really heating up this last half of the season. How much of this podium was momentum based for you?
I couldn't understand this. The echo was so bad.
No worries, we're dealing with some echo down here. How much of this podium finish was momentum based for you? I know the last half of your season, things have been really heating up.
Yes, I've been somehow improving a little bit every race. Finally getting up here on the box with these two. I just love it. I can't believe I'm up here. So,
who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank my wife, all my crew, Holzer Brothers, Nick Holzer Construction, Fleet Pride, Renard's Cheese, Corey's Crank and Nail.
Congratulations, Ben Holzer, our third place finisher. And Nick Visser in second. Nick, it seemed like this one really came down to a game of who could make the fewest mistakes, but what else came into play for you there?
I don't know. I ran out of tear-offs right at the halfway point. I took the last one off, and this is where I was kind of wishing I went on the Mud Munchers, but obviously they said they had problems with that too. So, I don't know. I got hooked up with a guy at a pretty good start, and that boat took us out, and finally I got out of that and just had to rally back. And man, it was frustrating. This track was, if it weren't for the rain in the middle of the race, I think it would have shaped up pretty good. But even where the mud got burnt off, and then it just turned into a slime fest. And these guys did an awesome job. I was just trying to tiptoe and just try to stay out of that mud, and I've just never had my truck not work as bad as that. But that's all I can do about that, I guess.
A game of survival. Who would you like to thank?
Yokohama Tires. I mean, they've been out here this year. They've been supporting me the last few years, and brand new set of tires really helped. I probably should have grooved them like a mud tire, but they did pretty good. I can't thank them guys enough back there that do all the grooving and all the work, so I don't have to. And then my family and friends, my wife, my kids, everybody that comes out to support this event, all my other sponsors, Parsons Builders Service, Mac Daddy Lawn Care, Advanced Pest Management, Matco Tools, Flannery and Flannery Trucking, my spotter Luke, he just keeps me calm going out there, and then all our contingency sponsors, Quick Car, and that's it. Now we're just trying to get a good spot tomorrow ahead of Ben and see if we can get this point championship from him.
One of our local runners, Nick Visser, congratulations. And your winner, Nick Bing, back on top. Nick, it seems that this bad luck streak is finally behind you. How much of a sigh of relief is this to not only be back on top, but to have survived that one?
It feels great. We had trouble at ERX. That was all my fault. Come to Crandon, we had all kinds of mechanical issues. Some of them was my fault. And come out here and win, it's just great. This huge weight lifted off my shoulders just to, prove I know we can do it as a team, and everybody that works hard and digs deep, and we got it going. And we were looking at the radar at the beginning of the race. We're like, it's probably going to be start raining, so just prepare. And we just kept digging and know what you had to do, and thought I messed up a ton of times. I thought these guys are going to get me, and just kept digging, and Charlie kept me calm, and here we are.
Congratulations. Who would you like to thank?
A lot of people I'd like to thank. First off, Max's Tire. I went over there this morning with a kind of a crazy idea, and they went with it, adjusted a little bit, and they hooked up as good as the track could be for conditions. It was really good. Adams Automotive, Todd hooks me up great. Dale and Jane's Pub, JR Enterprises, Nishik Auto Body, Smokin' Joe's RV Service, Country Club Bar, Dale and Jane's, hit them. Fleet Pride of Green Bay, Aero Coatings, All Out Asphalt, Holzer Brothers Incorporated, huge help to my program. Many more. Thank you, everybody.
Top honors going to Nick Bing here in Super Stock Truck. Back to you guys.
Jake Kosmecki, 99 is Mike Letourneau. Number 7 is Aaron Hilgart. Number 3 is Trevor Bushmaker. Number 22 is Dylan Marquardt. 21 is Josh Bayer. We're about to go green flag racing, and there it is. They'll come down on this short land rush into Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. See who got the best jump on our abbreviated land rush. It's like Liebergen out to the early race lead, along with Jorgensen, Christensen, and Marquardt.
Man, some of those guys passed 10 to 15 cars right there. Oh, a little spin, a little bit of chaos in the front, but pretty clean.
Yeah, you can see since it started raining, it's really slippery going through that bottom section. You're going to have to really rely on whatever cushion there is early on.
Yeah, the track was looking good, and then right between these races, they got a little glaze of rain. So gravel pit is looking very, very greasy, floating on that thing. A lot of guys choose the low line, which I think is smart, but man, really nowhere to go right now besides just get some laps under your belt. Keep your visor clear, radiators clean, because these things can overheat with all this mud.
Yeah, the weight, though, we talked about it early on already today, Kyle, and you talk about the weight that comes on the suspension, on the cars, and it really slows a guy up.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a bog effort. I mean, you can see it's slick there, and then it's a huge cushion on top. So they're trying to stay just on that ragged edge of the heavy, heavy cushion and keep the wheel spin up in these limited horsepower cars.
Up front right now, that's the number 2 at Tyson Marquardt, who's also your current points leader in light buggy.
He's checked out, too,
trying
man.
to mix
Huge
it up
gap.
here with the Sportsman UTVs, and it's Liebergen running in second. But like you said, Kyle, a huge gap between first and second place with Jorgensen running in third.
Yeah, it's important, though. The leader hasn't pulled a tear off, maybe 1 or 2. Second place has gone through half a stack already. So it's a big advantage in a track like this to get out front and just knock out laps, do clean qualifying laps, and, don't make mistakes. That's the biggest thing on a greasy, sketchy track like this.
Yeah, that's huge. You don't want to make any kind of mistakes, especially if you have that big, comfortable cushion lead. As we look back, here's a good battle going on already.
Yeah, Liebergen in that 36 Yamaha holding off the Speedworks machine number 11 of Jorgensen.
But even there, you can see the glass on the bottom and then just a huge cushion as they slide into it, straighten the cars out. So it's either ice or super heavy, loamy snot. So it's a sketchy track right now.
Up front, though, like you said, Marquardt doesn't have to burn through those tear-offs, and you've been doing this a long time. Do you have any horror stories about visibility problems that you've had in some of these dirtier races?
Back in the day, when my dad used to run Pro 4, they ran it rain or shine, no matter what. And I've been, pop riveting number plates to the roof of the truck so they can tell what number it is because they're all just brown. One time here at Crandon, he came back in the pits, and I was spotting for him and wondering why he wasn't going very fast in mid-pack, and he came into the pits, and his visor was up, and his right eye was packed literally solid with mud. We were squirting water into it. So drivers have no sacrifice, dude. They'll give anything and leave it all on the track. So these guys, I mean, look at these guys, 4th, 5th, 6th place. Those cars are completely covered in mud, and so is the driver's face, the steering wheel, the controls. They're battling a fight that you guys definitely can't even imagine.
Looks like Jorgensen still running in the second place spot. No, now they switch it up. So
yeah, it looks like the 98 of Lego up there mixing it up in the top 5 now. Try to reset that for you. Marquardt's out front, Liebergen second. Bushmaker is on the charge up to third.
Yeah, Bushmaker, he's been really, really strong in 2020. He's been putting together some good runs. He's going for that points championship. So we'll have to see if he can keep wiggling his way up through the field here. It's not an easy task, especially coming in this gravel pit here. And as he rotates early, I like that, getting a good square run out of it.
Going for it. Look at him making moves. Look, he just lost 2 positions. Those 2 guys were sick of eating his mud for 4 laps. So now they got ahead of him and hopefully clear sailing for those guys to try to get that gap back.
Yeah, you mentioned Bushmaker's points chase, Brent. Bushmaker came in 3 points behind Dylan Marquardt, who's in the number 22. He's back in about 6th or 7th place right now, so as it stands, Bushmaker could take over this points lead here in round number 9.
Yeah, he just needs to keep putting laps together, and he did a good job going through the gravel pit. You just got to keep picking it apart if you want to get up to Marquardt in that number 2. Going through the barn turn, heading towards the gravel pit. And I mean, the track is slippery, but if you're out front, man, you're on cloud 9. You're just trying to pick laps apart, just trying to put down the fastest one possible and just not make any kind of mistake, and it's not easy.
Good battle there. That should be for second place now.
Oh, contact. Dude, that's what it's all about. They're not getting dirty. They're just trying to make passes, but that's the big thing right there. He just bumped him out into that loamy stuff, and man, with these limited horsepower, even the big Pro 4s, if you do that, it's going to shut you down and bog you down big time. So hopefully I don't do that to anybody, or nobody does that to me.
That was RJ Lego in the 98. He's from Rhinelander. Stole that spot away from the 3 of Bushmaker.
Yeah, Bushmaker about 11 seconds behind our leader, Lego now. We'll see if he can reel in Marquardt, but Marquardt's in a league of his own right now, as we should be coming to that mandatory competition caution here shortly.
Yeah, that should regroup things back up, put some fire in some of the drivers, and make some radical moves as they're doing. A lot of passes down here in the gravel pit.
Yeah, already. That's our leader, the number 2 of Marquardt, Tyson Marquardt, dealing with some lap traffic. So it's one more thing you got to keep an eye on to survive this race.
Yeah, now he's dealing with tear-offs. You can see now he's dirty. He's going through the mud, and he's definitely got a big gap. So we'll see on that restart. It seems like he does have enough speed to hold a lead against these guys.
There is our mid-race competition yellow, so Marquardt will pick up a bonus point for leading at halfway.
Well, Kyle, we talk about all these conditions, like the rain is playing a big factor. I mean, I know you run later tonight, but at the same time, like, are you and Trad still discussing, like, what you're going to do for tire group? Like, what's the setup? I mean, are we going to get any more rain, or are we going to get rain? I mean, What do you guys think about right now?
Well, we're all watching the radar and seeing what comes and goes, and trying to all dodge a bullet. We could all make the right choice or all make a terrible choice, but some of the tracks we've made some right choices and really nailed the setup. So we're sitting there being patient. We haven't cut our final race tires. We're running the Toyo CT tires. It's been a super good tire for us. We've also run the Toyo AT tire this year, the AT3. So we've had a couple choices, and they both worked. We've won a lot of races with them. So we're literally just sitting in the trailer. We don't want to make a decision because it's super early. And watching these guys, I mean, if we made a decision earlier, all this new rain that just hit, we'd be scratching our heads and maybe grabbing another set. So they just got to knock off laps, and they got to clear this track off to, if it runs like this and we got a race like this, then we know what we got to do. If it gets cleaner and they blade some of that slop off, then we have another option. So we're playing the game just as everybody else is, sitting in the grandstands. I'm watching these guys race right now. So.
All right, well, we're going to go down to the third member of our team, Haley Shanley. What do you have for us?
I've heard you guys talk about this for the last couple of races here as the rain has started to come down. You've talked about the tear-offs. Kyle, I heard you talking about how your dad, how it was a last resort. He had mud packed in there in his right eye. Well, here are some of the things these drivers can be doing to mitigate some of that mud. So you're going to be looking at about 30-some, around that amount of tear-offs. Any more than that, and it's just going to get too foggy. You're not going to be able to see very well. Of course, we talked about a mud muncher. That's going to be able to get that mud out of the way. But some last resorts that these drivers may have to resort to is some of them might stuff a towel under the seat to be able to wipe off some of that mud. They might take a glove. They might end up taking that glove off, worst case scenario. Some drivers also in the side-by-sides, they might tape off a little bit of their rock screen, but they can't do that too much because that's just going to be more for the mud to accumulate on, block that visibility. So the mud, it is what it is, but that is going to be one of the biggest obstacles they're facing right now is that visibility.
Thank you very much, Haley. And yeah, you're right. You have to be able to see around here in Crandon, and especially you throw Mother Nature at it. As we look at Bushmaker, he's trying to figure out where he can maybe make some passes on this restart. But we talk about that points championship. You don't want to do something too stupid early because you could cost yourself 10, maybe 12 spots in one turn.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's such a competitive points battle among our top three. I mean, there's only 9 points between first place and third place. So you have to be a little bit aggressive, too, because if you're not and the other guy is able to get up around him, I mean, that's it could play to your disadvantage if you're too conservative.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, if you're sitting out there in the third spot, Kyle, what are you thinking right now?
Well, you had a 10-second lead, so you better have something in the holster to go into these first few corners and try to get something done. So I think gravel pit's going to be there's going to be some moves made down there. If they're close enough, they will take a shot at them because this is really their only shot to go for a lead.
Back to Green Flag Racing. It's Tyson Marquardt in that number 2 car running out front. Bushmaker, Lego, and all the rest as they head down toward the gravel pit.
Yeah, we'll see if Bushmaker can make his run up towards that front. There's Bushmaker in that number 3. He's really getting through the gravel pit very nicely, not scrubbing any time off. So we'll see if he can get to Marquardt in that 122 as they come back towards what will be our finish line.
Yeah, he's got a decent, comfortable little gap right now. So it definitely seems like he's got the power to pull away from these guys and seal the deal. So he's just got to be patient, not get stuck in that slop, not over-rotate, and just try to bring the thing home while these guys battle it out for a podium.
Yeah, that's Lego working on the number 3 of Bushmaker as they come back onto the front straight with Liebergen running there in 4th still. And our points leader entering the day, Dylan Marquardt, running in 5th behind that group. Bushmaker really has had his hands full with Lego, and Lego has really come on strong the second half of this year.
Yeah, he's really putting down some good times, especially here this afternoon, but back a couple weekends ago, he's just shown that he belongs up front. As look at Bushmaker just backing it in that number 3 ride. So we'll see. I don't know. That gap is pretty big. And remember, we're on the second half of this race, so there's a lot of work left to do. But if you're Bushmaker, you're putting points in the book.
Absolutely. Bushmaker's points racing right now. He knows he's got a shot at that points championship, and the guy out front of him isn't anywhere in the mix for points. So Bushmaker really in the preferred spot right now with no other points contenders running in front of him. But he's still got his hands full right now with Lego.
Yeah, dude, he's eating so much dirt right now, and you can just see out of that corner he's just getting roosted. So he wants to get ahead of him for position. He also wants to get ahead of him to just have some clean air. So it's a struggle when you're back there. I mean, you can see the hood trying to fall off that thing. I mean, it's flopping in the mud, and he's got, dude, that car's at least got 150 pounds of mud on it. So they handle totally different too. It doesn't jump well, it doesn't steer well. You know, the weight's all shifted all over the place. So muddy cars are definitely not fun to drive.
See, Marquardt still with a big lead. There's Bushmaker now opening up a little bit of a gap over Lego. About 3.5 seconds back. There's 3 laps that time by on our flag stand. So pay attention. We'll see if Bushmaker can keep picking that lead apart. I don't know if there's going to be enough time, though.
Yeah, Bushmaker really has to make up a lot of ground here on Tyson Marquardt. You got to recognize Tyson Marquardt. He's having a monster year in light buggy. He's coming to Sportsman UDV to mix it up a little bit, and he's headed for what would be his first podium and, of course, his first win if he can hold on here. So great run today for Marquardt.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just see that car, the ride height, just scrunching that suspension down. Just looks so heavy just on camera here. I can't imagine trying to wheel that thing around those tough turns.
Yeah, 100 pounds of mud on a truck like a Pro 4 or Pro 2 is not that big of a deal, but 100 pounds of mud on this thing it literally is a completely different car. So these guys are definitely not going as fast as they normally would, or push or jump as far as they normally do. So it's a little bit of a single file race, and most of that, as you can see, is because it's just a 1-lane track right now. The slop is so heavy up top that if these cars get up there and touch it, it's game over. So they tend to train race and throw a couple dive bombs here and there. So hopefully the Crandon crew here throw some blades out on that track and move some of that so that you guys, these fans and people at home watching, get to see a side-by-side 3-wide racetrack where we can actually hang it out and give you guys a show.
Yeah, fortunately that rain we saw during Super Stock Truck, at least for the moment, has gone away, and the skies are dry anyways, even if the ground isn't.
Yeah, and that's what we deal with here in Crandon, though. There's nothing you can do. I mean, it looked like our track was going to really lay out to be a fast race course, but Mother Nature dumped us on some more rain, so we'll have to deal with it.
Tyson Marquardt takes the white flag here in the Power Sports 1 Sportsman side-by-side race. Been in control of this one for a long time here.
Marquardt doing a good job out front, staying to that inside line, going over the barn turn one more time.
Yeah, the first half of the race he had about a 10-second gap, so right now he's sitting at 5 seconds. So you know those guys, Bushmaker and the rest of the group, have been getting faster and staying with him, but he's also may just be cruising and bringing this thing home for a big W.
Absolutely. A couple turns ago, Shane, not much more time for Bushmaker. Doesn't seem to have enough here in the mud to reel in Marquardt as he comes over the Polaris Flyaway one final time. Going to go through this hard right-hander in Calamity Corner. And he's going to look at the white and black flag. The checkered flag is out. There it is. He will take the win here in round number 9, Shane.
Yeah, first win of the season in Sportsman side-by-side for Tyson Marquardt. Bushmaker will be second, Lego third. Lieberg in 4th, Dylan Marquardt 5th, so that's going to turn the points lead over to Bushmaker with only one race remaining, Brent.
Yeah, and that's a huge finish for Bushmaker. He's really doing a good job this weekend. He didn't do nothing to harm his car. He just put it on the top 3 of the box. So he'll go into round number 10. He's got a shot at this thing. He just needs to be consistent all day, and maybe he can even pull a win away.
Yeah, with 1 round to go, you mentioned maybe he can get a win for this thing. He has 0 wins this year. He's just been running that close to the front all year and putting together those consistent finishes, and that's what's got him poised to take a shot at the points title tomorrow.
Another podium for you this season. You're really finding your stride in this last half of this season. Tell me about that race. What are your initial thoughts following that one?
I knew it was going to be a slippery mess, so when I had a chance to pass people, I started passing because I couldn't wait around.
Who would you like to thank?
My mom, my dad, Craig, Jake Shulman, Scott, Jared, Greg Shulman, everybody that helped me get here. Todd's Automotive, thank you very much.
RJ Lego, our 3rd place finisher. And Trevor Bushmaker in 2nd. From our perspective out here, that one looked so physical. You're not only carrying around that much more weight, but we're seeing some unintentional contact out there, and it really appeared to be a physical race. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was. The biggest thing was keeping your eyesight clean, and when I couldn't see through my shield, I had the spotters, Mark and Steve, kind of guide me through it, and we were battling with Lego, couldn't catch Tyson, but it was a blast. Probably the muddiest race we've ever did, so it was awesome.
Eyes in the sky coming in clutch. Who would you like to thank?
Beaver Machine, Dan Beaver Equipment, Maxxis Tires for hooking up in this, TJB Trucking, Lynn Washaleski, Nelson Tree Service, Haystack Apparel, Amsoil Power Sports One. Anybody I'm forgetting? My mom, dad, amazing girlfriend Autumn, my sister coming all the way damn near from Minnesota to come watch, so it was awesome.
Congratulations, Trevor Bushmaker in 2nd. And your winner, Tyson Marquardt. Congratulations, your first win of the season in this class. What's going through your mind right now?
All I could think of was this is kind of my rebuttal for the buggy race before I got 6th, and not where I wanted to be, but I started 2nd row here and just kind of ran away with it. I had clean lines. I didn't screw up at all. I just kept my eyesight clean, kept it smooth, didn't try to overdrive it or anything, and it worked out really good.
Great way to turn the day around. Who would you like to thank?
First and foremost, I got to thank my mom and my dad. My dad's a spotter, in my ear all the time, the whole race. I got to thank the whole Broken Dirty team, everyone here, all my family, HP53, Craig Huberty, Lena Legend, KGB, my brother, Mark, Edo, Zippy, Dylan, everyone else. Grave Trucking, Grave Transport, Levi's Big Dog Racing, Wooden Shoe, Revolution, oh man, everyone else, thank you.
For Broken Dirty Motorsports, this is Tyson Marquardt, your winner here in the Power Sports One Sportsman Side-by-Side.
Number 7, Ashley Bone is number 14. Camden Peitel is number 45. Harper Hughes is out there in the number 8. Number 22 is Cody Krantz. 55 is Carson Greco. We're just about ready to go green flag racing. There's the green flag. 170's headed down into Forest County. Potawatomi turn number 1. Also in the field, Corbin Wassenberg is the 25. Colin Peitel's the number 44. Raymond Denninger is number 11. Ella Holcher is number 40 as the number 9 of Livy Henches has gotten out to a great early race lead as they come down through turn 1. She got a great jump there.
That is officially a hole shot. Oh, but man, you can see it's heavy, heavy mud down there. But now they're on a good racetrack and should be able to bring it around, have some good laps. Clean line, stay out of that mud.
Trouble a little bit further back for one of the Holcher cars.
Yeah, definitely got out.
Which one that is.
Got out in that loamy dirt. I mean, it looked like maybe it was Ella Holcher.
I think it might have been Ella, and that could spell trouble for her points lead as Denninger is up in the top 3 trying to get around Henches right now.
Yeah, it's so tough. You start on the starting line, but you come through turn 1, and definitely not a race line so far since that rain. So now they're on this hard pack stuff.
Yeah, looks
see
like
Greco now.
Oh, trouble for Denninger as he was way off the pace there. Not sure what happened. That's going to turn the lead over, I believe, to the 44 of Colin Peitel.
Yeah, like I said, they just got to stay on that hard pack stuff and stay out of the slime because talk about limited horsepower. These cars are definitely limited.
Yeah, you really got to stay on that race line. Like you said, you can't afford to go off track because you definitely maybe even park yourself for the day because no power, you're not going to move forward.
Not a ton of ground clearance either on these cars, maybe about 6 inches of ground clearance, and that's it.
Yeah, we got one stuck in the gravel pit they're trying to push out. The officials are in the mud trying to push them out of the slime. So staying on the groove, keeping your visor clean. They will be neck and neck. They will be up and making some passes here. So they'll be ripping through some tear-offs. Pretty cool.
Up front, your top 3, it's Colin Peitel in that number 44. The 155 is Carson Greco in second. He's all the way from Arizona. And I believe the 52 of Madison Winnestorfer is running in third. It's our top 3 have sort of separated themselves from the rest of this field. You have to go quite a long way back there to find the 36 of Dressel in fourth. So we're riding alongside now with Colin Peitel, another one of the huge Holcher Racing family. Fortunately for these smaller 170s, there's actually basically a double wide race line that's developed, worn in by the full-size UTVs, the Sportsman side-by-sides that we saw just previously.
Yeah, definitely. This track is going to start coming together. Like I said, if we don't see any more rain, by the time Kyle and the guys get out there, it should be a good race track, and you'll see a lot of airtime, a lot of good speeds.
Yeah, what a cool drone shot that was. Literally almost in the cab with them. And just cool to have that angle, to get yourself into the driver's seat and see what those guys go through. As you can see, one of them is parked there, broken. There will be attrition, this mud and stuff, and the battles will ensue. These guys are close. It's going to get tighter, and they all want to win here at Crandon.
Yeah, it looks like Cody Krantz is off the track early in the 22 cars, so tough break for him. Going to have to try to figure out something for round number 10 to end the season on a high note. There's Greco in that 155. Trying to still move forward.
Yeah, true momentum racing here. These cars are so equally matched. Literally a stock 170 side-by-side with a fully built roll cage placed on top of it and safety equipment for the driver, the seat, the full fireproof race suit and everything else. Of course, safety here in the Championship Off-Road Series is priority number 1.
Yeah,
these kids are getting the full race car driver experience.
Yeah, and they're all so evenly matched that you do have to drive them really well, and you got to find advantages. And it's not just I've got 100 more horsepower than you. They might have a half to 1 more horsepower.
Right.
And that matters as well as hookup and driving and brakes. And it is definitely racing. Obviously it's a slower pace, but these kids are living on the edge right now. Like, they're flat out, hanging it out, going through sloppy corners, going off jumps, talking with spotters. They're living it just like we are.
Yeah, that's what makes it so cool. They have something to look forward to throughout these different classes. And they look up to you, Kyle, like, man, we're on the same track as Kyle and Duke's going to perform on later tonight. Especially, they're staying on that short track with the lights on already. So they're getting the same feeling. It's so cool.
Yeah, no, when they get out, they're just as excited as we are winning races. So it's cool to see. And, someday we'll hopefully see our kids in something like this, or the mod carts, or just throw them right into Pro 4. Why not? 10 years old, go for it.
Here, Reed, have at her.
Yeah, we'll see. Should be fun, though. It's exciting to watch these kids, and all their parents and families are up in the grandstands rooting and cheering. And when they win, it's a good day in the pits.
2 laps out of 5 in the books. Still Carson Greco up front. Denninger in second. Dressel in third. Then it's Prost in fourth. A good run by her. 21 seconds back, but our battle for this top spot.
Yeah, Greco still trying to reel in Colin Peitel in that number 44 car. Yeah, so on your screen, if you're watching us on champoffroad.com, you see what the electronic scoring and timing is showing, but looks like a few of these transponders on these cars not quite registering correctly. That could be caused by this mud, maybe interfering a little bit with our scoring and timing loop at the finish line.
Yeah, of course.
We'll do our best to keep you on top of who's actually out there. It's Colin Peitel in that 44, but look at this run by Greco as they go up and over the Polaris jump.
This is a battle for the win, so they are going tooth and nail, set them up, trying to make moves, and they're talking with their spotters and trying to make something happen for sure. Hold that lead, and also 155 is trying to take it from him.
Yeah, Carson Greco going to the inside, trying to open the door, making a little bit of tire contact. No harm, no foul, but 2 laps to go that time by. So time is definitely running out for these Razor 170s.
Kyle mentioned earlier, it's not like these cars have horsepower to spare, so anytime you're making contact, you're only slowing yourself down as much as you're slowing everybody else down.
Yeah, I agree. And now he knows they were able to put a fender in and touch tires, and now the pressure is on for sure. So they're going to come around and get the white flag and see how this thing shapes up. Now look at lap traffic. Like I said earlier, it's just kind of a single line track, so this may shake the whole thing up.
Yeah, we'll find out how aggressive Colin Peitel in that 44 really wants to be as he tries to navigate around that lap traffic. That's one of the Bone cars, the number 13. I believe that's Abigail Bone.
Oh, they're splitting it.
Oh, Greco thought about trying to make it 3 wide there. There's just not enough room, but look at this. Greco's going to go to the inside now. Peitel. But Greco might run out of space too, as Bone is still there in between them. And there's still one more car to deal with. That's the 45 of Camden Peitel.
Woo! Oh, a little contact, and the lead has changed.
Yeah,
Just like
Greco.
that.
Now Greco's out front, so we'll see if Greco can hold on to that top spot. We should be coming to the white flag this time by for the 155 2X Motorsports car. You have to stay to that inside, try to hold on, but he might have been just a little bit quicker. Can't really go by our times right now.
Yeah, the lap traffic definitely played a role in that, and I'd say, they both made good decisions to not have contact and clean racing, but it was 3 wide into the gravel pit, so that was pretty exciting for these little kids. They'll be talking about that one for a while, for sure. See how this thing plays out.
Unfortunately, Peitel pays the price, though, and he's back down into 2nd place now, trying to give chase to Carson Greco. Greco's been racing with us all year, making the haul from Arizona for all 9 and 10 of our rounds here this weekend, the Champ Off-Road Series. So
yeah, he's
making
doing
those
a fine
trips paying
job.
off, yeah.
Coming through the barn turn one more time. There's our drone trying to follow the 155. Such a cool shot from above, watching what's going on in those cars. Coming over that little roller jump, which later we should see a little bit more airtime.
Yeah, but Greco's, all the nerves are on right now, man. He wants to bring that thing home. He arguably took it from him. He got him a good position and earned that lead fair and square and kept it clean doing it. So that's the best way to come out and win these races, to straight up earn them. So he's got a couple corners, couple jumps to not throw this thing away. I know his dad's up there talking to him and try to keep calm and bring this thing home for another win.
Well, one more turn to go for Carson Greco. Can he get the job done? Peitel in that 44 seems to be about 6-7 car lengths back. One more right-hander as they come into Calamity Corner. Should get the job done in that 2X Motorsports 155 ride. He's staring right at the checkered flag, and he's going to do it, Shane.
Yeah, Carson Greco takes the win here in round number 9 of the 170 side-by-side class. Colin Peitel, that number 44, yet another one of that huge Holcher Racing family, finding his way to the podium here in round number 9. And Madison Winnestorfer will finish on the podium as well in 3rd.
Yeah, Greco definitely celebrating, definitely having the time of his life, but second place, lost that one today, and they're definitely going to be bummed. But hats off to both of them for running clean, running hard. They're both winners. They got to be stoked to be up on the podium here at Crandon.
Absolutely, and that's where we want to see them at the end of each day, as we see a couple cars still trying to get through the finish line. We're going to bring our top 3 finishers, and they're going to talk to Haley shortly.
It's my favorite as well. And let's welcome someone new to the podium here in the side-by-side 170 division, brought to you by Race Driven. This is Madison Winnestorfer. Madison, first podium. How excited are you?
I'm really excited because I thought when I was going over the hills, it kept slowing down, and I thought there was someone right behind me, so I thought they would have passed me.
Well, you held off the field. Who would you like to thank for the podium?
Tom Hoffman Trucking, my uncle, and John for getting me into this, and my mom, my dad, my grandma, and my grandpa, and everybody else that I forgot. And Truck.
Congratulations on this podium. This is Madison Winnestorfer. Nicely done. And Colin Peitel, his second podium of the day. Colin, on a scale of 1 to 10, how fast was this car feeling?
At least 8.
At least an 8, not bad. Was the entire track super slippery, or were you finding grip out there in some places?
Well, it was actually really slippery.
Yeah, it looked like it. Who would you like to thank for your second podium of the day?
All my sponsors, my mom, my dad, my little brother, my aunt, my uncle, my grandma, my grandpa, and my little brother.
What a great day. Congratulations, Colin Peitel in second. And Carson Greco, your winner here today. Carson, as you were closing in on the lead, what was your spotter telling you?
Just wait until they make a mistake.
Was that what happened when you made the pass for the lead?
Yeah.
Well, you were looking fast throughout. Who would you like to thank for the win?
I thank my mom, my dad, my brother, my grandma, my grandpa, my mom's dad, Jake, Eric, and 2X Motorsports.
Congratulations to our winner all the way from Arizona. This is Carson Greco and your race-driven 170 side-by-side. Let's give it up for the top 3.
With their track length rules, 4-cylinder power, you see a lot of different engineering designs going on out there. A couple mid-engine cars.
Wow, you see that look
Number
like
2
Schwabe.
of Schwabe's got a lot of tape on the rock screen of that one. Let's go down your lineup very quickly. For Marshfield, number 84 is J.D. Curran. Number 13 is Chris Coughlin. Number 12 is Dave Vanden Elzen. 56 is Mike Kirkham. 66 is Chris Vanden Elzen. Number 2 is Ryan Schwabe. Number 31, it's Mark Airsteiny Steinhardt. Number 9 is Mike Hester. 30 is Brandon Johnson. 3 is Tom Schwartzberg. And 444 is Todd Flannery. And we are underway here at Crandon International.
That Vantage on that bottom side looks to be working for Curran. J.D. Curran might be pulling whole shot here in Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. Looks like Steinhardt comes out in second. Hester there now in third. So good, clean start for everyone.
Yeah, I talked to Mike Hester this morning, Brent, and he was telling me that the engine in that car is actually a motor that's rented to him from Mike Meister, who came out and raced the Pro Buggy class here a couple of weeks ago. He wanted to recognize recognize Mike Meister. Hester wants to recognize him for allowing him to run this motor, and he's trying to chase down a points championship. He's got a narrow lead over Mark Steinhardt, who's currently running in second, but he's having all kinds of problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Steinhardt, he made a little contact with Curran, and it just brought him right out of the race line. That's what we talked about a couple times already today. You make one little mistake or make that contact, you get out of line, man. He's all the way back to 6th, 7th spot, if not farther back.
How about J.D. Curran running out front? Curran, of course, had a terrible crash. Oh, it was big trouble for Curran. Looks like he might have just lost control, or maybe something let go on the front end.
No, I think he just might have caught that edge there. He went over the cushion and sucked him in. Put him over. It looks like everything seems to be okay.
Curran had a pretty significant crash earlier this year at ERX and was really discouraged and kind of down on himself a little bit, and actually put the car up for sale for a short time, and he's got Matt Gerald working with him, and Matt talked him into sticking it out. They put a ton of work into this car to get it back to full race-ready quality, and unfortunate break for him, but we're glad that he stuck around because he's been one of the faster guys here in a very competitive Pro Buggy class.
Yeah, absolutely. Here comes Ryan Schwabe. Look at that. Look at the shield on that car. Just barely about maybe a 10-inch gap opening.
Yeah. And really putting it to use, as you see just an insane amount of mud that's caked on there already.
Yeah, and Kyle was up here, he's pointing out that tape on the side of the car. So as he's going in the corner, he's trying to deflect all that mud out of the cab. So it can get really, really gruesome in there if you try to move their tear-offs and you don't have any room. So we'll see if Schwabe did the right choice, as he's got a long way to go to catch our leaders.
Yeah, Mike Hester running out front after Curran had that problem. Like I said, I was talking to Hester this morning. He's got a 6-point lead over Steinhardt, but has never won a race here at Crandon. He came in as the points leader, had a pretty good year at all of our other tracks, but just lousy luck throughout his career here at Crandon. As we said, running a rented motor, there's still trying to kind of figure that out as well.
Right.
He's trying to get this Crandon monkey off his back, and he's got 98 career wins, so trying to hopefully, if he can, double up and reach that 100-win milestone like Kyle Duke did earlier this year.
Yeah, absolutely. That is very, very tough to get yourself to even get to 20 wins, let alone 100-plus wins in a career. And can't imagine how many races he actually entered in his career. As we look at Hester right there in the number 9, going through Argonne Turn, headed back towards what is our starting line here in Crandon.
Yeah, the track
Cowboy
back there,
Turn.
the track back there is pretty degraded. You see it on your screen if you're watching us at home on champoffroad.com. Hester having some problems, got pushed out into the fluff in Cowboy Corner. Able to gather it back up and hold on to this race lead. He's got about 10 or 12 car lengths over Kirkham and Schwabe. Hester coming all the way up from Orlando, Florida. As we said, trying to get that Crandon monkey off his back. He's been making a lot of progress in his program and enters this weekend leading in points in Pro Buggy, but still 0 wins at Crandon to his credit.
Ryan Schwabe coming into Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1, trying to hunt down Hester. Here, only a couple laps into this one. Going through the barn turn, and the rain seems to be tapering off, but there's word around that we might have another cell coming in later this evening. We'll have to try to beat.
See our drone pilot getting a little bit aggressive there, picking up a little mud for his trouble as well. So visibility problems all around here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. Mike Hester completes another lap around here at Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. About 1 mile and 3/4 per lap when they're running the full course layout. Hester looks pretty strong right now, able to limit his mistakes compared to some of these other guys like Horan and Schwabe who are having some problems with this mud.
Hester coming through Argonne Turn. There's Kirkham in that 56 ride. You see how the track has just come apart through there. There's a couple cars going really, really wide. Here comes Mark Steinhardt in the 31 ride, trying to work his way up towards the front. Remember, we have that mandatory competition caution, so if you're Steiny, you made that big mistake coming out of the gravel pit. You did get a little bit of help, but the help that he needs is that mandatory.
Yeah, at this point, he's kind of playing the waiting game, and like we've said a couple of times earlier today, there's a point where you know you're not going to catch the guy in front of you without some kind of major mistake from your opponent. So there comes a time when you have to decide to just save the car for that second half when you know that you get a fair shake at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hester going over the barn turn one more time. Such a cool shot, right up on top of the car. Going off that little drop-down jump by the Sweets here in Crandon. You watch as he's entering into the gravel pit, going a little bit wider than you want to try to creep right down to that bottom, carry that left front, stay out of all that sloppy stuff.
Yeah, really the race line that's worn in down there in the gravel pit is the ideal race line. But definitely the speed's starting to ramp up as the preferred line all the way around the track is getting worn in.
Yeah, track is definitely starting to come together, Shane. You're right. Look at that. Starting to create some nice lines through here. So hopefully Mother Nature's listening to us and give us a little bit of a break here. Crandon crew did a fine job getting this track together.
Hester really tiptoeing through this relatively more wet back section. We haven't had as much traffic back there as some of our classes are running the short course layout, so still a lot of work to do to wear in that race line back here, especially at Cowboy Corner. I mean, it's one line and it's barely that so far. And you've seen a lot of guys across all these classes with either a big push or a big over rotation as they go through Cowboy Corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Cowboy Corner has been very difficult to negotiate. See all the campers in the background of Pack House here in Crandon, Wisconsin. Coming through Forest County, Potawatomi, turn number 1. Once again, one of the fastest turns in short course off-road racing. Hester, man, we talk about him. We don't talk about it enough, though. Just the career wins alone, if you're an off-road fan, if you're a racing fan, just to put that number down in the books, and seal that. I cannot imagine what the trophy room looks like at home.
Yeah, he got his start racing down in the swamps and backwoods of Florida down here where he lives. He lives in Orlando. As the years went on and racing series started to disappear a little bit, he's told me this morning, he's like, we're sort of running out of places to race, but he knows that here at the Champ Off-Road Series, he gets to go against the best of the best. But he's really putting it on display right now as you see 5 laps to go here in Pro Buggy. Should be coming to our competition yellow on the next lap around.
Yeah, Hester doing a good job. Kirkham in second, Schwab in third. Steinhardt, we talked about him about 12 seconds on our screen behind our race leader. There is Hester putting it together. We should be coming to the competition caution on this next lap. So keep an eye on our field. Everyone trying to just babysit their car, get it to the halfway point, maybe reset everything.
Yeah, you see a glimpse of that red car there, number 3, Tom Schwartzberg. He's been racing here at Crandon for all 51 years.
Wow.
Just keeps on going.
That turn, cowboy turn, we keep talking about it, but look at how nice it's starting to create a nice line. You go outside of that lighter colored dirt, you're going to be in trouble, just like the number 3 of Schwartzberg.
Yeah, Schwartzberg doing a really nice job. I mean, obviously that much better in know-how. I think he was just moving over and letting this position battle get by him as he knows he's already a lap down.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the best ambassadors for sportsman racing right there, Tom Schwartzberg. As we look back out front with Hester, I like to joke with some of these guys. I think Pro Buggy might be the oldest average age of any class here in Championship Off-Road. I'm not going to throw out any numbers, but let's say if there's a handful of guys that the first digit is a 6, we'll say that. At least, and Tom Schwartzberg is a little bit older than that yet.
Yeah, Schwartzberg, he's been around a long, long time. It's great to have him back week in and week out as Hester's going to be staring at that mandatory competition caution flag this time by. Man, does anyone have anything for Hester?
I mean, all signs right now are pointing to him getting that Crandon monkey off his back finally and picking up his first win here at the Big House. Like I said, when I talked to him this morning, you can just hear it in the tone of his voice how badly he wants to win here.
There's JD Coran coming by our flag stand. Man, what a good start by JD. Just had a little bit of issues negotiating some of those turns, and he finds himself back a little bit farther in that 6th place spot as our Crandon International Off-Road Raceway pace truck is going to pick up our field one more time here. Hester, Kirkham, Schwab, and Steinhardt, Van den Elsen in your top 5. So another shot for Van den Elsen. Showed 21 seconds behind. That gap will go away.
Yeah, Van den Elsen early on in the season was putting together a string of really consistent finishes. Some of the guys around him had some bad luck. Actually, after round number 4, Van den Elsen was leading in points over Hester and all the rest of these guys.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, though, Shane, to see Hester if he can keep it together. I mean, obviously he has the experience. He's been around for a long time. He knows how to deal with these situations. I mean, you don't have to sit with him on the radio and be like, hey, you're in the lead, make sure you nail this start. He knows what he needs to get done.
It will be interesting knowing that Steinhardt was sitting 2nd in points coming into this race to see how aggressive he wants to be on this restart, if he can move up a couple spots and maybe stay within reach of Hester. Like I said, 6 points separated those 2 drivers entering today's race. That means Steinhardt definitely has some work to do. He's got to finish ahead of Hester here at least in one of these rounds and by a couple spots in doing so. You see even at low speeds there, Brent, just a ton of mud being churned up by these cars. Pace truck is off, and we're going to go back to green flag racing in Pro Buggy. Hester's in control of the field, and there we go, green flag. Hester, Kirkham, Schwalbe, Steinhardt, and Chris Van den Elsen, your top 5. Kirkham's got a run on Hester here as they go down into that Polaris gravel pit turn, or at least he did for a moment. See how aggressive Mike Kirkham wants to get here as Hester trying to hug that inside.
Yeah, look at Kirkham. Kirkham trying to get a good run out of the gravel pit. We'll see if he can put it together. Remember, the track's starting to dry out a little bit, so he's definitely not probably pulling as many tear-offs as he did in the early parts. Some sections right there, like the finish line turn, it really does get muddy. But he'll have to just keep his distance and try to make a good run at it.
Yeah, and you saw a little mistake there by Mike Hester as they went through Calamity Corner by the finish line. You know, Kirkham's got to be watching that, and he knows right now he's got to put as much pressure as he can on Mike Hester. Hester going for career win number 99, and Kirkham going for career win number 1.
Yeah, Kirkham, he's trying to steal that close to 100th win. We can't say it yet, but look at those rear tires.
All the way locked
right
up coming in.
Yeah, Hester really hard on the binders, getting it to rotate. Oh, Kirkham makes a little bit of a mistake. Here comes Ryan Schwabe. Ryan Schwabe and Martin Steinhardt now. Can they get in the mix? But Hester now, look at him coming into Forest County Potawatomi turn number 1 with a decent cushion lead.
Yeah, really stretched his lead as they came down the steel and land rush starting straight away. You know, another thing that comes with experience, and Hester has so much experience, is, you know, understanding track surfaces. As Hester swaps a little bit there, is that you've also just got this extensive notebook of what you've done for setup to deal with different conditions. You know where to go with tire groups and what to do with your suspension to counteract these difficult conditions.
Yeah, and he's doing a fine job. We kind of jinx our drivers when we start talking about him. I feel bad because he said Hester, he knows where to go. He kind of went over that cushion through the barn turn, kind of pushing a little bit. Here comes Kirkham. The white flag is going to come out that time by. So we're definitely shortening up this one.
Look at that, Hester's rearview mirror full of Mike Kirkham right now. The battle to be the fastest Mike of the day right now on our race course.
Yeah, absolutely, Shane. This one definitely isn't over, like I said. We'll see if Kirkham can get a good run going in to this long straightaway, heading back towards Cowboy Turn.
On this last time, the previous lap through Cowboy Corner, Hester just got incredible forward drive out of there and basically left Kirkham behind for a moment. So we'll see if he's able to put together another run like that. It looks like he does. A great drive off that corner by Hester. He's got that corner figured out about as well as you can have it figured out in these conditions.
Yeah, definitely you can see Hester's got it figured out for sure in that number 9. Just doing a great job here. The track conditions not really phasing Mike Hester. We'll see if he can put that right rear right up on that cushion, just feathering that throttle coming through that little chicane, going off that downside roller into the gravel pit.
Yeah, no pressure from behind now as Kirkham has fallen about 20 car lengths behind. Everything looking good for Mike Hester trying to pick up his first win at Crandon and career win number 99.
Hester looking for 99, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if he can do it one final time going through this right-hander. Great run by Mike Hester, gonna take the win here in round 9 of Champ Off-Road.
And finally able to get that Crandon monkey off his back. I know I'm gonna have to go find him later on tonight because he's gonna be just ecstatic to finally finish on top here at Crandon.
Absolutely, kudos to him and his team. They were ready for rounds number 9. Things are definitely gonna keep getting interesting as we move on through our races. Don't go anywhere. Tell your friends, family at home to log on to championshipoffroad.com. All the pro races are coming up here in a few moments as Hester's going to bring our top 3 to the podium.
You know, you were keeping the pressure on the second place for a lot of that race. Tell me about the balance. Obviously, you need to be pushing, but you don't want to overdrive this buggy.
Yeah, it was just super slick, and I knew that Mark was there, and I know he can drive in the mud, and he can drive this track. So I was trying to tiptoe around and not make any mistakes. Unfortunately, I tiptoed a little bit too much, and Mike got around me. But, yeah, I mean, finishing was the name of the game today, and we finished on the box, so I'm happy with it.
Not a bad day.
I just got to thank my friends and family, also my girlfriend, Allison, my dad. I can't do it without him. Cody, Ashton, just the whole crew, Hojo, Clutch Energy, and County Line Automotive.
Nicely done. Ryan Schwalbe in third. And in second, Mike Kirkin. You showed such tenacity in this one. Congratulations on the commendable finish. Talk to me about the pressure you were keeping on Mike.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure. I knew there was a couple guys back behind me, and it was just a matter of trying not to make mistakes. And Hester didn't make too many mistakes. Hats off to him. And I just want to thank Yokohama Tire this weekend. They hooked us up, and I think they did a pretty good job. I'd also like to thank JRJ, you got that right, Sister Christian, Porter's Patch, USW, my wife, Zach, Mom and Dad, Trent, Steve Downing, and his family. Thanks a lot.
Mike Kirkham, second place finisher. And look out, I think there's a monkey running around somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but I know it's off the back of Mike Hester. Congratulations. You finally got it done. Your first win at Crandon. How special is this to you?
It's absolutely special. You know, for years we've come here and always had trouble. The best we've ever done is third place finish up here. You know, it's always something. And then Labor Day weekend, you know, we've had such a great season. We really thought we'd be able to bring it, and we blew the engine in practice. You know, so Mike Meister was kind enough to loan us a backup motor, so we were able to run 5th and 6th, you know, Friday and Saturday and stay in the points. You know, so this is just critical. For us, we shook the curse of Crandon. It's number 99. You know, it's just great. I got to thank my family. They're all here supporting. You know, it's a lot of fun to have them here. I got to thank Besh, and I got to thank Sloan's Automotive, Dwayne, Terry, for all the work that you guys have done. And you're the guys that got us here today, you know, on the podium and winning. Thank you very much. Thanks to Gary at Precision and JL Golding, Waterproofing, Jeff Golding for being here helping the whole time. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Career win 99 for Mike Hester here in Pro Buggy. Congratulations to our top three. Back to you guys.